My name is James Rowlands, and in 2015 I started the WNR podcast with my friend
Dan White. And every month we bring you the latest collections, newest content, 205 Live and the crown jewel of the WNR NXT update.
Also each month the latest pay-per-views, and we are live not only for the Big Four but every takeover as well.
Plus, in 2019, we go back 20 years and witness the Attitude Rise and the WCW's demise.
Until we've watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR. Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always I'm joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR246, it's WWE versus WCW, and it's Fall Brawl 1999. But before we do the alternate intro, I have been to the dark side, I have seen a world that no man should see, and that's from being John Malkovich in 1999. But now, the real intro.
In 1999, WCW and WWF were the two biggest wrestling companies in the world, and for the past couple of years had traded the number one slot. But as the year started, it seemed WWF had a plan to continue its hugely successful Attitude Era, while WCW has seemingly lost the plot. Rather than focusing on younger talents like Booker T, Benoit and the Super Over Goldberg, it instead pushed out stars like Raven and Jericho, and sticking with the over-the-hill stars Hogan, Piper and Flair, who had passed their peak years previously. This year, the WNR podcast goes back 20 years and witnesses WWE's rise and WCW's demise. This is WWE versus WCW, Monday Night War, September 1999.
Well, last time out, WCW had brought back the red and yellow to arouse an ovation, and the Hulkster had called out Sting. So let's move on to quick Nitro results, and we start off September 6th.
Yes, Lodi defeated Evan Courageous in the first match.
Barry Horowitz versus Al Green ended in a non-contest.
Is he the NFL dude?
Yes, yeah.
Well, Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko co-won a Battle Royal, and other participants included Humorous, Kurt Hennig, Perry Saturn, Jerry Flynn, Brian Knobbs, Shane Douglas, The Barbarian, Kendall Windham, Barry Windham and Vincent.
Prince Arcade defeated Johnny Swinger.
Buff Bagwell defeated Lord Stiegel.
Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero and Billy Kidman defeated Juventud Guerrera, Blitzkrieg and Psychosis.
Shane Douglas defeated Kendall Windham.
Barry Windham defeated Jerry Flynn.
Perry Saturn defeated Hugh Morris.
Chris Benoit versus Dean Malenko ended in a no contest.
And stipulations stated that the winner would earn a WCW World Title shot.
Hulk Hogan and Bill Goldberg defeated Sid Vicious, Diamond Dallas Page and Rick Steiner in a handicap steel cage match main event. But it was this, so that's why we're not actually going to watch it now. But we'll move on, and what we're going to watch in its entirety now is WCW Fall Brawl 1999 from the 12th of September in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we're just going to run through the card as well. Oh, attendance was 7,491.
Yes, we had a six-man tag team match. The Deadpool, which was Shaggy 2 Dope, Vampiro and Violent J versus the Filthy Animals, Eddie Guerrero, Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio Jr.
We got WWE World Cruiserweight title match. We got Lenny Lane with Lodi versus Kaz Hayashi.
We had a no disqualification tag team match. The First Family, Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris, with Jimmy Hart versus the Revolution, Dean Malenko and Shane Douglas.
WWE World Television title match. Rick Steiner versus Perry Saturn.
We had a singles match, Berlin with The Wall versus Jim Duggan.
WWE World Tag Team title match. The West Texas Rednecks, Barry Windham and Kendall William versus Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray.
WCW United States Heavyweight title match, Chris Benoit, who's the champion, going against Sid Vicious.
DDP versus Goldberg.
And a heavyweight championship match, Hogan versus Sting.
Alright, so let's get to it, and let's start off with the intro. So the story going into this is about who can you trust, as Tony Schiavone shouts as the pay-per-view starts. And of course, we've seen that recently with Lex Luger coming back, and telling Sting you can't trust Hulk Hogan. But this is the yellow and red Hulk Hogan. This isn't the Hollywood Hogan that we've known for the past year. Can Sting, who should he trust more, Dan? Should it be Hogan or should it be Luger?
Well, in the grand scheme of things, Sting hasn't had a reason to distrust Luger. So, he should go with what he knows and not change things up.
Well, this is the thing. They've been tag team partners and friends for many, many years. But the question is as well, should WWE at this time be focusing on a storyline with three kind of veterans at this point rather than focusing on kind of building more up-and-coming talent in the company?
Well, you've got the Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko thing. That would be an awesome story to go with. You've got the Filthy Animals, Rey Mysterio, Chavo, and... Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and Billy Kidman. I mean, that would be an awesome match, just having that for the entire card.
But I think what we found now, what I've definitely found the past couple of years watching these pay-per-views, is that it doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of stayed the same. We talk about the talents, and they're going to be in the kind of opening matches, 6-man tag teams as it main event. You've still got the same guys. I mean, even Goldberg, who I'm a huge fan of, like we say, is going against DDP. This is the match we saw at Halloween Havoc. So again, they're just repeating exactly what we had kind of last year, rather than trying to focus on something a little different.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like WCW have got their top guys, and they don't stray away from that. It seems like there is no opportunity to break into the main event scene, as it were. Like they've either got to stay around the mid card and just be happy with that, or go elsewhere, which Chris Jericho's done, and obviously we'll monitor his progression through WWE as it goes.
Exactly. See if there's any more defections coming up as well. You got to think backstage not happy. Ever since Bischoff said, if you're not happy, you can just leave. I mean, what kind of does that bring? They talk about rematch as well. This rematch, Sting versus Hogan, is a direct rematch from the biggest WWE pay-per-view all time, Starrcade '97. So again, retreading what we've had 2 years on. It seems a bit of a shame, but let's hope the card can actually deliver, because the Attitude Era at the moment is really hitting its stride, and they're building stars. People like, Triple H, The Rock has been built, but Mankind now as well. Of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And even people like The Big Show has been rubbing shoulders with The Undertaker recently, has been looking like a kind of main eventer as well. And let's see if WWE can counter-respond with the insane clown posse and Vampiro.
I mean, what do you think WCW are going? Well, it worked for us in '97. We was doing very well. So let's kind of go back a couple of years and carry on with that. They're kind of staying where they are, as if they're going back to what was working. They're kind of going back to their last save point, as it were. Whereas WWE moving forward.
And this is what WWE's experiencing now. So that WCW has is that it's the stars of the past are stronger than the stars right now, and they keep harping. We have a go at WCW for doing it, because what was successful for them, the NWO, Hogan being in the main event, and that's what they're desperate for, and that's what WWE are kind of doing now in that way, whereas back then they did have to change it up. They had to go with kind of new stars in a different direction.
Absolutely, and that's I think that would be a good answer for him, especially with AEW on the horizon. It is going to bring a lot more eyes away towards AEW. That's going to go without a doubt.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how, of course, NXT mixes up with it now. It's going to go live and head-to-head with kind of AEW, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on the Wednesday Night Wars, as it was on the WNR podcast, starting next month.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a new thing that we're seeing here. But you
can kind of see, look, with like WCW, like they took a few of the not so top guys from WWF then, and they kind of, put them into main event stars, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Ty Dillinger, even Pac as well, they're not top guys.
Yeah.
And they're going over to there, they're going to, kind of run with them, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes the most sense, in that way, because there's guys, like I said, that are true workers, and this is where other, companies fail with that. And it's trying something, and sometimes, it might not work, but you can't just keep relying on the same old thing that's been happening. And that's where the golden generations of wrestling come from, when it's something completely different as it was, So
cards on the table. We know that WWE isn't going to fold, but who do you think is going to win the wars? Do you think it is going to be like WWF versus WCW?
I hope it gets to that level. It would be interesting to see the kind of first ratings for all the shows when it first happens. I think AEW will beat NXT live, and then see if NXT can respond. But if rumours are right, and if someone like Kevin Owens, who's obviously been fired recently in storylines could then show up in NXT, and just imagine if he was a part of that as well. So WWE've got so much talent that they can actually just kind of go with it as well. They've been stockpiling it, and we talk about if it's right or wrong.
Well, do you think that's what their response is going to be? They're going to like lose a week or two early on, and then they're going to say, right, we chuck Kevin Owens there, we chuck Cesaro there, we chuck Drew McIntyre into NXT UK, give him a good run in there, and kind of backpedal, so to speak.
It's not a backpedal, but it depends if it's looked at a developed brand or a third brand now. If they're looking at NXT as a kind of place where the main roster type.
Because you could put Shinsuke Nakamura, not Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor there. Or you could put someone who's never been there.
Yeah.
Like, get your Randy Orton down there or something, and have him boost ratings. I mean, he'd win the war on his own.
Well, yeah, but this is the interesting thing. It's questions that were asked. But you can see the kind of... We talk about WWE back in the day, kind of having so much talent. Why were these guys under contract for some amount of times? It's exactly what WWE are doing now to make sure that anybody else that comes out, is a part of the WWE banner, and trying to stop AEW from growing, and seeing if AEW themselves can respond. Because if it's direct competition, they won't win. But if they're doing what they do well, much like we saw when ECW was doing it, even with TNA, look at Impact Wrestling now, it's shit. But during that time of the X Division, look at the amount of stars that left there and went to WWE, your Bobby Roode, just fucking everybody on the roster, there's no point listing them, all went across, varying success and everything like that. So it's only when WWE, if they're saying, we only make the stars, it's interesting to see how many stars were out there beforehand and kind of where we're going from this as well. There's no doubt it's a kind of golden period, again, for wrestling, just the amount of content that we got.
Well, when was the last genuine homegrown talent produced?
The last three were, you've got to say The Shield, haven't you?
Yeah, people that had never been known anywhere else.
Just from the... Oh, fucking hell. No, that is...
See, for me, it'd be going back to 2002, the class of 2002. Like, Cena, Orton, Lesnar.
I mean, would you class Strowman as much of a star? You know what I mean? I don't know if he's kind of came from... I think it's bodybuilding or whatever it was that he was doing, or weightlifting, I don't fucking know. But, people like that. But are they true? They're not main eventers, are they? You talk about true stars. And this is the difference, and this is why everything, it's all about how it looks. You look at this match right now, and you've got 6 men, the Insane Clown Posse with Vampiro against Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Kidman. And you think 2 of these guys would go on to be world champions. This is from 20 years ago. At this point in time, would you think that these 2 guys would ever near the scene sit in another company?
You could never have called it, could you? You can see the talent in them, but that's only through going back and watching it. If you was watching it right here, right now, you'd never have said, well, Rey Mysterio definitely going to be heavyweight champion. He's going to win a Royal Rumble from start to finish. Eddie Guerrero, he's going to have very impressive showings in Royal Rumbles. He's going to
defeat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's going to beat a man twice his size, built like a brick shithouse.
I mean, Kidman's definitely got a certain look about him at this time, and I think Kidman is, quite underrated in some respect. Yeah, maybe not have the kind of greatest personality, but I think what we've seen through him watching WCW is that he's kind of one of the standout performers. But the problem is he's just been attached to the cruiserweight division, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that is the problem with these going forward. You only see these as cruiserweights, not legitimate heavyweight contenders.
Well, Kidman's going to start in there, one of the clowns. I'm going to guess it's Shaggy 2 Dope.
I don't even know who they are. Clown. And Billy Kidman is getting beaten by... You can't even call him a music artist. He is just a clown.
I got it right. It's Shaggy. Clowns.
An arse clown.
Shaggy Scoob. He sends him into the boot of Vampiro. Now they're working over Kidman. And yes, this match has started. Now kick by Kidman. Beautiful drop kick. And the fans definitely happy about that. And now Kidman just stomping a mud hole, walking it dry. And sometimes it might be too easy because he works with a forearm now. Irish whip across.
Well, Kidman and Rey Mysterio looking like they're a tag team. Eddie's just doing his thing.
And now Shaggy 2 Dope with a clothesline.
1-0 down. And
now Kidman back on his feet though, managing to block Shaggy. And he is really not a professional wrestler. Look at this. What the fuck is this? Trying to wheelbarrow him.
And Mysterio dropping the leg on the back of the head with Shaggy.
And now we're going to see Eddie Guerrero involved in this.
He's going to helo in over the top rope.
Of course, Eddie been out in action for a very long time due to a horrific car accident. One of the nights low, he said to Eddie that he's going to keep paying him every week until he's back. And we've seen Eddie Guerrero's a lot sharper since he has returned. And that's what I love about Guerrero. Just always on, everything he does is on point.
It is crisp, yeah.
And Rey Mysterio, yes, this jean-wearing, white vest, bleached blonde hair. This man would be mystical figure with his mask back on. No,
Who was underneath.
honestly, so long since I hadn't seen Rey Mysterio without a mask. Now I've seen him, it's just like...
That's obviously because, there wasn't much internet around back then, so you wouldn't have... I suppose it wouldn't have even touched your radar.
Yeah. And now Violent J's in there with Mysterio, and he takes him down. He's got a move that doesn't work, slingshot.
No, Rey Mysterio he's working his arse off, like trying to make them look better than they actually are.
You couldn't be in there with 3 better workers to try and help you out.
Absolutely. Well, Chris Benoit.
Yeah, and now we get Vampiro.
The actual wrestler.
I mean, I don't want to be horrible to Vampiro. I quite like the character, and as you see in 2000, I kind of try and pair him up with Sting. But if you see him now, my God, it's not been a good 20 years for Vampiro. We'll try and post that on Facebook. But Rey Mysterio now with a Bronco Buster to Vampiro. And he tags in Kidman, his tag team partner. And the faces have had an effect on the heels all throughout the match. Now it's Kidman with the right hand. And Jay's trying to hide behind the referee. And a weak-ass chop puts Kidman down.
Irish whip. Dodgy kick to the midsection and a DDT.
Now Vampiro's going to look to powerbomb Kidman.
Why does he need the referee distracted while he does that? I don't get it. He's like, hey. And as he does that, Rey Mysterio starts getting into the ring. The referee goes over there distracted, and then he just gut-wrench powerbombs him.
Well, we tried to pin, but Kidman managed to kick out.
Well, it was partially a save by Eddie Guerrero as well.
Well, the thing is, Insane Clown Posse should be kept as far away as possible from the action.
They should be kept as far as from anyone.
I mean, yes, they were in WWE, but they didn't really perform, thank God.
Huge shoulder block takedown by Vampiro. Kidman's in a bit of trouble now.
And Vampiro, a beautiful spinning heel kick off the top. Connecting.
Mysterio in to make the save, though.
Now Kidman getting worked on by the Insane Clown Posse. And there we go. That's a proper way of actually distracting the referee there.
Yeah. Knife edge chop by Vampiro to Kidman in the corner.
And now it's the heels in firm control. Got Kidman wrong part of town.
Double-handed slap. He's going to tag in Shaggy.
Yep.
Running power slam. Into the cover. 2. And Eddie Guerrero with a very innovative way of helping out Billy Kidman. Just a simple poke to the eye. Brilliant.
And now Violent J's got Kidman Irish whip reversed.
Sternum first into the turnbuckle and a clothesline takedown.
Get the hot tag now. This match feels a lot longer than it has been. And now Mysterio, here we go. Here we go. The end's in sight. Violent J can't see him yet.
Seated springboard senton.
And he takes out Vampiro and Shaggy on the apron.
Oh, a lion salt and rolls through onto his feet. 1, 2. No, Vampiro to make the save.
The referee needs to control this match.
Ray thrown against the rope. 619's his way back in, but gets a kick to the back from Vampiro and clotheslined by a clown. I mean, I think clowns in wrestling peaked at Doink.
Yeah. Well, do you know it would have been awesome if they had introduced Doink as their father? Do you know what I mean? Like, missing a trick with that. Yeah. But, like you said, Doink the Clown is a character that I think could have worked. These guys aren't. Even though they are still performing to this day to the Juggalos, which is an awful or brilliant thing, depending on how you think of stuff like that. And now Mysterio's hot tag lasted about, I don't know, 30 seconds?
Yeah. He's been shut down, getting thrown into the ring by Vampiro and a clown. It's like you had Doink, then you had Insane Clown Posse, and now you've got kind of Bray Wyatt.
Well, Vampiro, Violent J, I think, is a legal man, but Vampiro's just decided to put the sleeper on. And now the referee's just saying, all right.
So, the same referee that made such a big point about Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero get into the ring to try and break up this illegal maneuver, yet the referee pushes them out and leaves the clowns and Vampiro in.
And now Mysterio's in a lot of trouble as Eddie's get working, but Kidman's come in. And now Vampiro picking up Mysterio. And he just kicks him down.
Kidman and a back elbow for Eddie Guerrero. So why didn't Vampiro make it to anything big then?
I don't know. I don't know what he's done. I mean, his attitudes weren't great backstage, but it's weird that WWE never went with him. I mean, Vampiro would probably say that, you know, he turned down the offers, but I don't know if the offer was ever made. He's found success in Mexico and a little bit in Japan. So But he's a guy that's very opinionated, even now, the kind of shoot interviews that he does. So maybe it was just a case of not the right attitude, a bit like New Jack. You know, with someone like that.
Yeah,
just,
yeah, you're a wrestler, but you don't quite fit the bill.
Yeah, we don't really need someone like that.
I think, if anything, it would have been worth just taking on the character.
Team up plan.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie Guerrero's in with a monkey flip, but Vampiro landed on his feet.
Catch him with a nice back heel kick there.
Here comes Violent J.
So these names are just idiotic. I think they just took two random words and just put them together.
Yeah, I doubt it's their real names. I mean, would you name your kid Violent?
Wow.
Or Shaggy? Well, then again, it has been done.
Yeah.
But now the Clowns are going to double team Eddie Guerrero. It's Shaggy 2 Dope off the top. And
With
a leg drop. Didn't connect.
But Eddie sold it like it did. It hit him on the forehead. It hit his hair.
It brushed his hair up in a slight quiff.
And luckily enough, Eddie Guerrero sports a mullet, so it's kind of the long hair.
And we can always tell it's a mullet because it's business in the front, party in the back. And now Vampiro gets a tag in.
Isn't that the type of your autobiography? Party in the back.
Poker in the front.
Liquor in the rear.
Oh, and Eddie's in. Taking out Vampiro. Clotheslines Shaggy 2 Dope.
And one for Violent J, and Vampiro straight back on it. Hits head. If Vampiro and the Clowns win, this is why WCW failed.
And now look like Vampiro and Shaggy going to double team Eddie. Oh, what the hell was that, man?
I think they was trying to kill Eddie Guerrero before he died.
Well, they look like a diamond cutter, but turned into just a slam. Now Shaggy off the top.
Vampiro cuts him off, though, with an uppercut to the throat. Gut wrench slam.
But he's not the legal guy, but referee still can anyway, it doesn't matter.
And then, just for some strange reason, after covering him, Vampiro gets straight back up. Gets caught with a drop kick from Guerrero.
Eddie grabs hold of Vampiro's legs. Kidman on top.
Shooting star. I think you need him in the jaw.
1, 2, 3. And thankfully, this match is over. My God, that was a long one. Dan, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely far too long. It kind of took away everything that was or should be a tag team match. It's like, you know, with tag team matches, we do like to see kind of like a hot tag. And as soon as someone started gaining some momentum, they were shut off almost immediately. Them two clowns should have been anywhere near a wrestling ring. Vampiro, he's not even that great, to be honest himself. I think, you know, all the hard work was done by Mysterio, Kidman and Guerrero.
Yeah, I think a match with these three in should have been a lot better than this, you know. And like I said, it might not be their fault, but again, it wasn't good, and it felt like it went on forever. And for an opening, that's exactly what you don't want to do. You want to get into the action quickly. Yeah, the right team won, but does this actually do anything for these three guys?
Absolutely not.
So there you go. We'll move on, and like you said, knee right to the jaw of Vampiro with a shooting star, but got the job done. The Filthy Animals win.
Vampiro and the Clowns celebrating as if they'd won.
No, they're arguing, but no one cares. We've gone backstage, and here comes a revolution. And the WCW.com team, say team man.
They look a bit like the Radicals.
Apart from Shane Douglas, who of course is blacklisted from the company, but this is a new group to bring terror in WCW.
I don't want to do this.
I felt a bit sorry for Dean Malenko during the week, just seeing him then. There's a picture on Facebook said Jericho posted with Malenko, Guerrero and Benoit saying it was a long time ago. A lot of people commented, oh, Jericho, it's really sad you're the only one still alive. Dean Malenko is not dead. I just want to say he's a road agent in AEW now. He is still very much alive. So to anybody that saw that post and thought, oh, when did that happen? Don't worry, he's still around. But of course, a member of Revolution 20 years ago, like you said, would be a radical come the millennium. But up next, because it was the Cruiserweight Championship, this has all been about two guys who are very close to each other, Lenny and Lodi.
Closer than you and I.
Even closer than that, yeah. They share the same towel. That's how close they are.
We only share the same bed.
Lenny got the upset victory over Rey Mysterio on Thunder, and they've just gone so overboard. We've talked about it before with relations to Billy and Chuck.
Hayashi looked really familiar.
Kaz Hayashi, I'm trying to think what he did. Was he with me for a little bit? Nah.
And I'm not meaning that as in all Asians look the same, by the way.
Do you think it says Itami? This is what Itami used to look like. No, all joking aside, Kazuhashi, like, it's a great talent, the Cruiserweight title. It's got two different guys competing in this one. So, what are your thoughts on Lenny and Lodi, Len? Do you think this is appropriate?
No. In a word, no. It is something that's just completely ridiculous. I don't know, like, do you feel like it is mocking the homosexual character?
Well, I think it's definitely they're heels, aren't they? And the fact they're getting booed because they kind of do all the stereotypical things that homosexuals do. But the question is like someone like the Velveteen Dream, is that an appropriation on that now, or is that something different?
I would say that is completely different.
Why is that different? Because he's still the mannerisms and kind of stuff like this. You know, we talk about Goldust as well. These types of characters.
But it's different because it's solo. Whereas these two guys, you know, like the way they're acting together and around each other, I suppose it makes it different. You know, if it was just one of them doing these kind of things, you would have thought, yeah, you know, he's slightly out there, and you could say that he has got Velveteen Dream mannerisms, or, you know, Goldust mannerisms, but because there is a guy with him, you know, and...
So Billy and Chuck are worse than, like, Goldust in that one. Because Goldust is pretty fucking out there as well when you talk about... like, Lenny and Lodi are doing it, the WWE doing it the wrong way with them. We can see, is there a right way to do, or should they just be like...
I don't know, because...
We've never seen a cat.
Because the Billy and Chuck side of things, it was kind of based around a misunderstanding.
Right, yeah.
You know, so it is kind of... They didn't realise what they were doing. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, they kind of put a comedy factor to it. These two guys, I really don't know what on earth they're doing.
Well, they're lovers, and they're also brothers. And this is what we've seen in WCW. And, I mean, again... don't want to compare him to Chris Jericho, but do you think WCW at that time thought to themselves, oh, we had someone like Jericho who came out and was a little bit outlandish and whatever it was, so we'll just replace him with someone like Lodi and just turn it up, you know what I mean, like 100%. And it'd be the kind of...
Turn the fabulous up.
Yeah, it'll be kind of exactly the same, because that's what we think of someone like Chris Jericho.
Well, not really, because, you know, you can see the similarities in the look. And you could say, you know, if this was a copyright infringement, you'd say, yeah, he is definitely guilty of it. But if you watch him wrestling a match and listen to him here, you know, you listen to him talking on a mic, you'd be like, yeah, no, that is nothing like Jericho.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But he's seen two guys who, like we've talked about, we've moaned about not seeing any new talent. And even though they are going the wrong way with kind of Lenny and Lodi, it's good to see other guys kind of involved. But for me, it wouldn't just be the Cruiserweight division you would be doing it with. It would be kind of everything else.
Does he prances about?
He prances about and gets a negative reaction from it. But even like someone like Darren Young, who was kind of as open about it, was never kind of given a role to do. You know, we've not really seen it represented that well when it comes to professional wrestling. I think that's still saying that maybe kind of needs to be looked at. But again, we're finally getting different ways about how women are treated in wrestling.
Or do you think it is kind of bad play on WCW's part by making these two guys heels? There is no reason why these two guys should be heels.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could look at it, you know, reading between the lines, you could say, well, WCW think two guys that are over familiar with each other is wrong and they should be baddies.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think WWE should be able to look at as well, because you talk about the kind of racial connotations and stuff like this as well. Someone like Kazuhashi, they had someone like Takamichi Noku in WWF, but usually the kind of international heel was the kind of guy that threw salt, and, you know, even when it comes to Europeans and people like this, he was treated by that. It's only changed in the past few years, because if you look at the nationalities of everybody on the WWE roster, they're all from these different countries. Back in the day, you know, in 99, it was either American or Canadians, and in your sprinkle of hills, people like fucking Fit Finlay or Regal, even in WCW as well. And that's kind of changed now, and even they were like, oh, we use Kazuhashi as a good guy, that wouldn't probably happen in WWE, so...
Yeah, you have that side of things. I think that's more of an American stereotype, because, you know, everyone else... You know, if you're American, you see America as number one, and everyone else is against you.
Yeah, apart from Lord Gideon.
Lord Gideon Grey.
Yeah, he's all of them. But Kazuhashi showed his ability there. Beautiful Tope over the top rope, taking out Lenny and Lodi. And he might be in control, but as I say that, it's Lodi on the outside, tripping Kaz. And Charles Robinson now, don't get me wrong, he's a great official, but he should be keeping his eyes close to the action. And now it's Lenny with the elbow drops, but Kaz manages to move out of the way.
Starts unloaded with some right hands. Irish whip, reversed. Ducks a clothesline attempt, and Hayashi into a wheelbarrow, but gets rolled up into a pin attempt. Quickly out, and a face first slam. Oh, just a 2 count though.
2.
And Hayashi's in a bit of trouble at the moment.
But Lenny looks a little bit frustrated. And
Lenny lame.
The smile that's gone off of his face. But, you know, it's all about that in wrestling. You go back to people like, we talk about Adrian Street, who was a documentary on the W Network back in the British way, you know, kind of wrestling around like this and get reaction. I do think it's the times as well, you know, look at what wrestlers were like in the 60s and 70s, and even in the 90s with the Jerry Springer generation and kind of the shot kind of TV that we had, to now, it is going to, you know, change. And we'll probably look back in 10 years' time at stuff that happened now and go, oh, that should never have happened, you know, so.
Well, you know, you look at this back into the 90s, I think, you know, at that kind of point in time, it was being different was the way to go, and if you're all the same, then you know, you're all boring.
Yeah. The problem with the cookie cutter wrestler, like I said, these two guys are definitely not from the cookie cutter, but let's see what they can bring as Kaz with a drop toe hold. Then he goes into the second turnbuckle.
Springboard in from Kaz, but he gets planted face first by Lenny. Slowly into a cover. Unorthodox cover?
Yeah, that would be an unorthodox cover. I mean,
kind of mounting him.
It's all about gimmick infringement. Goldust might have to ring him up and say, wait a minute, I'm the only one that's allowed to slide into my opponents.
Yes.
I know.
I'm going to leave that one there, James. I'm going to leave that one there.
Oh, and now Lenny with a nice gut wrench into the powerbomb. Can he keep Kaz down?
No, just a 2 count.
2.
Bring your own blow pops.
What's a blow Actually, I'm going to leave that there as well. Well, Charles is in charge at the moment. It looks like Lenny's going to slam Kaz.
No, backslide from Kaz. Drops the top rope and Lenny goes crashing to the mats below.
Are we going to see how Ashley fly?
Lovely, straight over the top, taking out Lane.
Looks like a swanton bomb to the outside. Beautiful agility there, didn't even touch top rope.
Kaz Hayashi looks like someone that you could place in Now Times Wrestling and he wouldn't look even an ounce out of place.
And maybe it's someone like Kaz who was, you know, generation 2 early, especially with someone his size, but oh, wait a minute now, and it's Lodi on the outside.
With the attack, throwing Hayashi from barricade to barricade. And eventually throwing him back in the ring as Lenny Lane has Charles distracted. Probably asking him for bleaching tips.
Goes for the cover, but no, Kaz managing to kick out. And Kaz is the only one with his natural hair. And but it's weird though, Lodi, you know, look at his transformation in a couple of years. He was part of the Raven, you know, getting a part of that. You've seen a kind of emo type character, and now he's kind of...
He still kept his holding up signs though.
He has, to be fair, that is good about the character.
And his name.
But apart from that, I mean, he's glistening at the moment, and now he's fanning down Lenny.
I think Hayashi's got a broken nose there. He's bleeding profusely. Snapmare takedown.
No, he's just got the side headlock in, and Kaz trying to fight this.
Trying to get the crowd into this, but they're really not. So how much more of this pay-per-view will be watching after these first 2 matches?
You know, WWE have got an awful record of giving us terrible ways to start pay-per-views and non-pay-per-view style matches. And you can even see the empty seats, you know. I don't really didn't bother with the first couple of matches. Might tune in for the main event. But Lenny now's going to look to powerbomb Kaz.
Oh, no, but Lenny managing to kick out.
Kaz beautiful there, turn it to Hurricane Runner type pin. Now going to go run to Lenny, who reverses the Irish whip into the corner.
Bounces off the ropes. Bulldog. If he does the lion salt off of this, he crawls over into a cover.
But it didn't hurt the leg.
Count.
2. That's what cost Kaz then. Look at the seats emptying. Look. They were full up during the first match.
Yeah. But again, this is a match that is nothing and it's going to lead to nothing.
And now Kaz trying to go down, but Lenny catches him.
It looks like John Cena with long hair when he smiles.
Oh wait, Kaz lands on his feet for the back suplex attempt.
Now turns it around, plants Lenny. Lodi, covered in glitter with his nails painted, looks distraught on the outside.
And he can't do anything at the moment to help his partner. Now Kaz blocking his shots from Lenny and unloading his own forearms and right hands. He's been through a wall with Lenny hit tonight.
Irish whip reverse sends Hayashi into the corner. He moves out the way. Springboards over the top rope into a lovely bulldog. She's signalling for the end now.
Well, he's not going for the cover. He's picking up Lenny again. And he's putting him on that top turnbuckle.
Hayashi looking to join him up on the ropes, but gets cut off. Lenny with clubbing blows.
Oh, now Kaz comes off sunset flip. Lenny holds on.
Looking for a power bomb. Lovely running seated power bomb there.
I think Lenny landed right on the back of his neck. Kaz into the cover.
Lodi assisting his partner, putting his foot on the bottom rope.
Well, that should have been a 3. Kaz had it 1. And now Hayashi back to the top of Lodi on the apron.
And Lenny up to cut him off.
And Kaz with a couple of boots to the face. And he jumps off with a beautiful Hurricane Runner. Goes for the cover.
Oh, so close, but Lenny managing to kick out. Jawbreaker from Lane.
And now Lodi on the apron, look like a double team. Kaz reverse Irish whip. They don't hit each other, but they do hug.
And a drop kick to the back sends Lane into Lodi.
And now Kaz with a cover for Lenny. He's got him. No.
Lenny just managing to get the shoulder up at 2.
2. Well, that's close you're going to come to losing your Cruiserweight title. And now Kaz again with a backbreaker, going to go up.
Lodi up on the ring apron though.
Now Lenny's distracting Charles Robinson.
He gets taken out by Hayashi.
And Kaz now wasting his time on the wrong man.
Lodi hangs him up on top. Roll up from Lenny. 3.
No,
2.
2. Well, just a millisecond away. Kaz trying to jump over. Lenny now. Skull crushing finale.
1, 2, 3.
So Lenny there with a skull crush finale move that Jericho said he invented, but Lenny was using it first. Gets the victory over Kaz. What are you thinking of that match, Dan?
Well, he looks like Jericho, used the finisher that Jericho claims he created. There is a bit of gimmick infringement. He just hasn't got the talent. I don't know. The match wasn't that great. It just didn't seem fluid enough.
I don't think it was too bad. Better than the first match.
Better than the first match, yeah, but that wasn't hard.
I think the chemistry between the two was alright, but with Lodi at ringside, that just seems a little bit weird, and Kaz gets screwed out again. But, I mean, Lenny, have they got big plans for him in WWE, or is this just a thing until, they stop getting the reaction? Who knows, but it's just still interesting here as we move on.
He does look like John Cena in drag.
Well, the brothers win and retain their Cruiserweight Championship. So Mean Gene's in the ring, promoting the main event of the pay-per-view and interviewing one of the stars, of course, Sting. I mean, it's not like they had, 5 hours of TV before the pay-per-view to get this done. Let's interview Sting on the night, in ring.
Absolutely, yes, and we all know Sting, he's a man of many words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sting, the big question is, who are you going to side with, Hogan or Luger?
And he'll go,
you know something, Mean Gene?
If Hogan doesn't come down and interrupt Sting and Mean Gene, I will be upset.
I'm going for Luger.
Oh, Luger might just, come around that as well. So Sting didn't really say much, really. I mean, Mean Gene asked him a question who she trusts, and he say, we'll find out, and he could become a 9-time champion. And that's much more than I actually thought Sting had.
I honestly thought that as well. It's you kind of underestimate what Sting actually achieved in WCW.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Kind of franchise player tonight beat Hogan as the question is asked. Up next for us here now, it's the first family of Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris with Jimmy Hart going against Revolution, Shane Douglas and Dean Malenko.
Yes, and Brian Knobbs with a very 80s shouty promo there going into it. Couldn't understand any of what he said. He was just shouting.
Knobbs is getting a job for life here thanks to being friends with Hulk Hogan, during the day. And this is what Hogan was doing. And Brian Knobbs, I'm not a huge fan of the Nasty Boys, but he should be nowhere near the scene. And Hugh Morris has been the same character now for the past few years, ever since being squashed by Goldberg in Goldberg's very first match. I think that's the most famous thing Hugh Morris has ever done.
Being judged by Goldberg, yeah, I think it is.
I mean, getting fired as Bill DeMott as a trainer in WWE, beating up the younger guys, I mean, that's pretty funny. But as in funny that he lost his job and he's not a part of the WWE family anymore. We'll talk about someone who's blacklisted as well. No, I don't mind Shane Douglas, but at this point, his move for WCW was too little too late. He'd broken his body in ECW since leaving the WF thanks to the Click, and had come here kind of not the same guy. Dean Malenko, I think, is someone... We talk about how would they be today. I think Dean Malenko would thrive in today's business. Do you know that?
Absolutely, yeah. He was a very good learner. Kind of just completely ignored the spud from Shane Douglas there as Shane went to fist bump him, and Dean Malenko's on the odd like that.
I think that's kind of gimmick that definitely works. So we look at someone like Drew Gulak, who might hark back to someone like Dean Malenko, kind of the way he works in the ring, how technical he is. And now looking for the opportunity to kind of dominate WCW. And is it like this going against Hugh Morris and Brian Knobbs?
Well, as Revolution get into the ring, they're immediately cut off by the First Family, and it's a no disqualification tag team match now.
And there are more empty seats now than there ever have been, but I'm not saying that's down to Revolution, as you got Knobbs in there with Malenko.
So again, with the over-the-hill wrestlers, Knobbs definitely up there with the over-the-hill performers.
He should be nowhere near this. I mean, you think about who these, whoever the Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, and now who Malenko has to go up against. Even Benoit later on in the night. It's not really fair, is it?
Absolutely not. No. And we see a double low blow there from Dean Malenko, and then another low blow on Hugh Morris, who gets out the ring and kind of shakes it off.
Yeah, you just want a quick time out. Of course, anything goes.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. Get your manager to raise your hands halfway through a match with shit kicked out of you.
Well, their backs turned. They get hit by baseball slides by either man.
And Shane Douglas is getting the fans to hold Hugh Morris's arms as he beats on him. That's quite innovative. That's different.
And Malenko sending Knobbs into the stairs.
And Shane Douglas turns it to the other side of the barricade and gets some more fans to hold Hugh Morris up as he pounds away at him. As Malenko continues going to work on Knobbs. He's kicking Knobbs in the knobs. Knob.
Well, he's definitely gone down low. Malenko and Douglas mean business here tonight. As Hugh Morris gets sent headfirst into the stairs. And Shane Douglas now just looking around. It's already looked like a disaster area as Douglas picks up the stairs.
Oh, and just slams him on the back of Morris. With no ramifications of what would happen as the stairs land on the ankle of Hugh.
And now, Knobbs sending Malenko into barricade. Then he had looked like a trash can on the head of Douglas.
Bounced off the forehead of Shane as Malenko gets a cable and just wraps it around the throat of Knobbs. Do you think, backstage are like, we need to kind of turn this up a bit? These first two matches were shit and boring. So let's send out Knobbs.
Let's turn the heat up with Hugh Morris.
And we need something else, so let's have Shane Douglas.
Exactly, and now the franchise is working on Knobbs in the corner.
He's sweating profusely. All right, things have kind of... now we got tags in the corner now.
It's like the opposite of a WWE tag team match, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We normally start off with a normal tag team match and then all hell breaks loose. But this one we start with all hell breaking loose as Knobbs looks for the pit stop.
Oh, no. That is offensive. I'd rather have a bushwhacker lick me
than a Knobbs armpit in your face.
I'd rather have Rikishi stink face.
That's saying something.
And now Shane Douglas dropkick there, got at least 4 foot in the air.
At least 3.5 foot. Good old Shane Douglas and Knobbs bringing back the 80s style wrestling. That's what we like. Irish whip, drop toe hold, and then a running baseball slide / drop kick from Malenko into a cover. No, Morris in to break it up.
But do you think the talent was disinterested at this time? Do you think Malenko and people like Guerrero are going out there and going, I'm doing this, so I'm not going to give 100%?
I think they're giving 90%, whereas the likes of Knobbs is certainly not even giving 12%. Knobbs is like, well, I've got a job for life. It doesn't matter how well I perform and how much effort I put into it. So, Malenko's still like, well, I'm going to try a bit. And, I think with Eddie Guerrero, it's like, I'm going against 2 fucking so-called music singers and Vampiro. Oh, yeah. Great.
But I think, especially with sort of like with the Lenny and Kaz match, at least there's 2 guys that are, I think, really trying, they're giving what they got. We think these guys are thinking, like, what is it going to take? We're just going to be in these type of matches at every fucking pay-per-view to the end of time now, Malenko's sitting there thinking, well, where am I going to go? They can't move past, United States title level, and they're stuck with these guys who probably don't even deserve to have jobs at the moment. But anyway, Shane Douglas now fighting back.
Very innovative snapmare there.
There's no doubt Shane Douglas was talented.
Well, again, as you say, he was beaten and battered down from ECW. He's kind of gone to WCW to take it easy a bit.
Well, it's like, when Kurt Angle came back to WWE, it's like he just didn't have it, did he?
He's lost something.
Yeah, he's just, it's the same with Shane Douglas. And I think with Knobbs, he might be trying, but he is just shit as well.
He never had it. He is still stuck in the 80s. You can see with that fucking mullet. We're coming into 2000 soon. And mullets, they was big in the 80s, dying out in the 90s, and in the 2000s kind of non-existent. unless it was making a statement. And this is someone who is definitely... He's still got his fucking 80s Nasty Boys shirt on,
Yeah,
I'll say.
that's true, yeah. And that's Shane Douglas sending knobs into barricade behind. Well, I say it doesn't matter behind referee's back or not.
Yeah,
I forgot it was a hardcore match. And Shane slowly gets reversed.
Sent into barricade, and I think there was a sound guy down there as well, the poor fucker.
And now, I don't know what Jimmy Hart's trying to do. Maybe a little dance.
So no disqualification match, yet the referee tried reprimanding Hugh Morris for coming into the ring illegally.
No, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, does it? They were just hitting each other with fucking stairs 5 minutes previously, and now Shane Douglas taking Hugh Morris off the apron. And now Knob sent to the outside, and it's Revolution left standing. And Shane's trying to do this crowd, but I don't think the crowd cares, really. I don't think they're really invested.
I think they was slightly invested when it was a bit of a hardcore anything goes match, but now it's kind of settled down into a boring tag match. It's like, meh.
Yeah, I think the referee said, look, this might turn out to be not a bad match if you carry on, so change it up. Hogan's in the back, not happy. How's he going to follow this, brother?
So far, I have seen 3 matches not even worthy of pre-show.
Oh, these are awful. These are Nitro, if you know what I mean. Like, these matches... the only thing I don't mind, right, is that at least they got a little bit of story to them as opposed to what they had a couple of years ago where it was just a kind of random match on pay-per-view. It doesn't mean that it's good, but they're trying to learn a little bit. It's just a shame that the talent is just so...
Well, this match should be about Revolution kind of getting rid of, an old guy like Knobbs and Hugh Morris. They should be like, look, we're the new lot, we're the new breed, we're coming in, we're taking over, and we're starting from the bottom and we're taking everyone out.
Rather than a back and forth effort like we're seeing, but Shane Douglas got the boot up on Knobbs and tags in Malenko.
Who unloads on Morris, who's been tagged in. Irish whip. Oh, back body drop. Got about 2.5 foot in the air.
Yeah, you can see just Morris taking a bump himself.
And Malenko's fighting off Knobbs and Morris. Lovely drop kick there from the Iceman. Takes out Jimmy Hart as well, who's up on the apron.
But I said it's so 80s, like the manager get taken off into the other guy. Oh, Knobbs with a trip now as well.
Allows Hugh Morris to drop the elbow drop.
And he's going to try and get in position for the no laughing matter.
Morris is up in the corner. Hits it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's how to build future stars right there.
Absolutely, yes. Give Hugh Morris and Knobbs the win.
Nah, I don't mind Morris hitting the move, but on Malenko as well. I mean, that is just a slap in the face, isn't it? I mean, my God. That was terrible. Thoughts on the match?
Absolutely fucking awful. The wrong men won. The wrong person on the team got pinned if the wrong team was going to lose. Just no. I'm shocked and appalled. And we see some so-called highlights of that. You see, Jimmy Hart took out Knobbs, but Knobbs got straight back up and managed to trip Malenko in that same kind of segment. Was standing there watching.
And now, then he decides, hang on a minute, let me go around and get Knobbs. And Malenko just looks shocked on his face when he's getting pinned as well. It's like he maybe could, but just didn't want to. His shoulders was up. Malenko, I don't think Malenko was told about the finish to this match. He's like, yeah, you're going to win. You're going to get a victory. Is there any surprise with this kind of book that 3 months' time, Malenko, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Pesat would just go, fuck it. Let's just go. The only surprise is why they didn't do it sooner. And talking about the powerful Revolution who've just lost, we're moving on to our next match as well. And I'm sure this is going to end well for Revolution, isn't it? And talking of those 80s wrestlers, I hate Rick Steiner. I really hate Rick Steiner. I have seen nothing from Rick Steiner in singles. Ever since he'd fucking turned with Scott, they should have just either left it with the Steiners or just got rid of Rick. Even Scott, I mean, where the fuck has Scott Steiner been recently? I have no idea. No. I think he's morphed into Rick Steiner's beard. Honestly, it's so weird. And Rick Steiner was involved in the big storyline teaming up with Nash and Vicious. I mean, where the fuck did that end up? But at least he's still, television champion? Yes, and the title is on the line for this match. Well, can the Revolution keep their losing streak alive? As you can tell by our voices, we are very excited by this. Well, Pro Saturn is a great talent. There's no that Saturn has been somebody. This guy, if they concentrate on it properly, when he split up Raven's flock, he actually had quite a good reaction from that. And instead of moving on from it, he teamed up with Raven and started wearing dresses. But he's back now as more serious Saturn, and he's the one guy maybe that didn't kind of have a huge impact out of Radicals. Can you see why, or do you think there was more potential with Perry?
Unfortunately for Perry, he was the least talented out of a very talented group. I think that's kind of, what went wrong for him, to be honest.
Well, the reason he got the Moppy character in WWE was because I think it was on Shotgun or one of these programs. He lost his temper with one of the jobbers and threw him outside and kind of beat him up. So that's on YouTube. If anyone wants to go see that as well. But that's kind of why he got the Moppy character. He didn't make it afterwards. He went missing for a couple of years as well. Saturn's a really interesting dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's kind of those teamed up with Cronus and EastWs and the Eliminators, and there's a kind of couple of real big spots that they did there as well, as opposed to Rick Steiner, who's dog shit.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, another 80s throwback who's kind of not moved on from the 80s.
The way he's dressed now looks like a weird sex kind of.
He looks like a sex character, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Got the dog collar and the bandana and the sunglasses. Of course, the bleach blonde, was going backstage with all the hair, and Rick said, "Hang on 1 minute, let me just do my bit of beard."
Yeah, come on, Ray, you've got enough left over from your farm. Saturn don't need it.
No, he just needs a little bit of wax for the shine.
Didn't he go bleach blonde moustache bit though for a while?
Oh yeah, so they all kind of like to. That bleach blonde is around backstage. It's free to use.
Yes, free peroxide. If the talent isn't sniffing it, then you can.
But Nick Patrick, I like his look as well. He's refereeing it tonight because he's just keeping with just a simple tash. That's all he's doing. Simple stash, and he's holding it with quite a stoic nature. Don't get me wrong, the Steiners were a good tag team. With Rick, nah.
They were a good tag team for the 80s, early 90s. Yeah. That is it. Wrestling evolved, they didn't.
Well, can Saturn win the television title? This will be a great victory for him. But I won't bet against it. Now Rick Steiner straight away with a takedown. Now clubbing blows to the back of Saturn. Just showing that he's got complete dominance already.
Huge clothesline takedown to Saturn. Steiner standing tall thus far. Into a cover, but just a 2 count.
2. It's the kind of quickest beatdown that I've seen.
And he's surprised that after about 30 seconds of wrestling, he hasn't got a victory from a clothesline takedown.
And Saturn hasn't actually hit an offensive move yet.
Baseball slide between the legs, and now Saturn unloads with some rights. A lovely super kick.
Rick Steiner slammed, and now Saturn. And that was nice.
Lovely springboard. Rick rolls to the outside. I was half expecting him to go, "God, sod this match," and start walking up the fucking aisle. Time
out. And Saturn now managing to throw Rick back in.
Saturn wailing away with a huge right hand to the head of Steiner.
Irish rib into the corner, and now a lovely German release.
Looks like the referee's throwing it in during this match.
Well, Saturn only got a 2.
2.
And now Nick Patrick count, and Rick managing to move Nick and kick Perry Saturn.
In the dick. Rick moved Nick, then kicked in the dick.
And now we're going to see a Steiner elbow.
Sucks to be him.
And now it's Rick Steiner who's taken over again. Gone to the outside with Saturn, throw him into the stairs. All thanks to that low blow. Rick Steiner would hit that 9-year-old.
Absolutely. Rick Steiner moving things at a glacially slow pace.
He's moving slower than Sid.
Fucking hell. Rick versus Sid.
That would be just kind of in an Iron Man match.
It would be going backwards.
An Iron Man match that would last 4 hours.
Feels like 26.
And now the ringside mats have been exposed for pure Steiner with a DDT on Perry Saturn. Straight on concrete, right in front of the referee. Rick Steiner's smirking.
No, James hasn't got a cigarette in his gob. He's got a smile in his face because he knows slow and steady wins the race.
Oh, despicable action there by Rick Steiner taking out Saturn. Throws him back in, and surely this is it.
Well, don't call me Shirley. It doesn't look like Saturn's got a lot more left in him. But the amount of time Rick's taking to actually strike Perry, it gives Saturn enough time to recover and fully heal.
Rick Steiner looking into the crowd rather than focusing on Saturn.
German release. That's quite an impressive suplex. Into a cover. Only a 2 count.
2. And Rick putting his hands on an official, looking to strike him.
Gets rolled up by Saturn, but Steiner immediately kicks out.
Ah. And another Steiner line putting Saturn down. Rick Steiner looks like your mate's uncle's just come out of prison.
Yeah, I just untied his nose off.
Yeah, fucking in there, didn't mind. Up the hammers.
You got a beer there, son?
Out the irons. I mean, to me, I wouldn't say he's a professional athlete, but then again, I don't like Rick Steiner. Unlike the fans in attendance.
Who absolutely adore him.
Yeah, look at that one guy with a moustache and the crowd smiling. He's just smiling because of Nick Patrick.
Is Perry Saturn tapping out, or is he swimming with no water?
It looks like he's swimming. He's doing a breaststroke.
Oh, manages to claw his way to the bottom rope. Steiner refusing to break the hold. Eventually does, though.
Now Saturn got the leg. Saturn's not in control of this match. Rick Steiner has the leg of Saturn. Go back to that same submission that he's been having in his past couple of minutes.
Even the fans are getting restless and booing it.
And the thing is, there's different type. There's the kind of negative booing, and there's kind of, the proper kind of heel heat.
Booing.
These are the kind of fans that are watching this event and saying, I'm never paying for another fucking pay-per-view for WCW ever again. I'm never going to come to another live show. This has been god awful. I mean, how long have we been watching it for now? Like a fucking hour?
How much is it to watch this on telly as well at this time?
Probably about $30, $40.
So $40, and you've been subjected to 4 of the worst matches you could ever imagine.
Yeah, literally, and like the kind of the matches you look forward to seeing, or the people are like Malenko lost. Saturn's on his way to losing this one, but at least we've got Hulk Hogan versus Sting.
Absolutely, yeah, a never before seen match.
And Goldberg versus DDP.
Again, for a Goldberg match, I should be even more excited, but I'm just not.
And Saturn now coming back into this, a couple of second rope springboards.
Lovely suplex as well into the cover. No, just a 2 count.
2. Saturn trying to capitalise on it now. He knows it's not going to be on top for long.
And as you say that, Steiner capitalises and turns Saturn inside out with a suplex of his own. Leg hook into cover. No, just a 2 count.
2. Now Rick Irish ripping Saturn. No.
Fireman's carry.
And the Death Valley driver. Can he get the cover? 1, 2.
No, Steiner just managing to kick out. Could we be seeing the rings of Saturn up next? Saturn signals for it.
Up, try and finish him off again. No, Rick blocking it with a strike to the face. Now a powerbomb. Oh, no.
Upside down into the turnbuckle.
And now's Rick Steiner going to go for the deadly second rope bulldog. No.
Top rope bulldog. No, leg gets kicked out by Saturn. Crutches Steiner on the top rope.
Now Saturn going to go for suplex. No, Rick fighting off. And Rick suplexing Saturn down. Now he comes off the top.
With the bulldog.
And that is all she wrote. Perry Saturn goes down. Thanks to Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner wins. The fans aren't happy.
Happy.
I'm not happy. What are your thoughts on that match?
Atrocious. Rick Steiner didn't steal a single fucking thing. Everything that's he hung him up on the top rope. That had put a man out for a week. Steiner managed to fucking come back, capitalise and get a victory from it. Like, what the fuck?
Well, Revolution are having a great night. Having lost to Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris, and now to Rick Steiner. Can Chris Benoit continue that tradition? I mean, your newest group about the future are losing every match. I mean, what is the fucking point? And this is why, they said fuck it in the end. It's been a horrible night. Can Mean Gene save us? Oh, he's got the Hulkster with him. Well, so, Mean Gene. So Hulk Hogan has sworn on his kids' lives that he will not stab Sting in the back.
And of course you can trust Hogan at his word.
He's got one of those faces.
Old, wrinkly, past it.
And Hogan's sick of the accusations. I mean, how dare they?
How very dare they?
He's going to make sure Sting's 190% ready.
Yeah.
That
is an actual figure.
Fucking hell.
He didn't just make that up.
No. And he's sworn on his kids' lives again, so I believe him. Well, his word is bond, and Mean Gene said, that is right for the most part. Even Mean Gene looks a bit tired,
He's probably been watching the fucking action.
Yeah. And Tony Schiavone just walking through with Mike Tenay and Bobby Heenan, what we've seen, and the main event, because we've not spoken about it enough just yet.
It is literally just a full, complete undercard for a main event.
It's awful, isn't it? We have a go at WWE events, but this is torture at the moment.
Absolutely.
We've not actually seen. Give us something that we're going to enjoy.
I've not seen a match that I'd score over 3.
It's just, And Buff Bagwell's gone missing, and we might not have that big match coming up. So let's go and find Berlin now.
Well, that's Russia.
Tell you, Berlin's lucky that he came from Berlin, isn't he?
Absolutely.
It might be a little Frankfurter.
Oh, it could be Stuttgart.
Hamburger. Oh yeah, this is the wrestling debut of Berlin.
What was you saying about wrestlers from foreign countries coming in and definitely being baddies?
Yeah, well, there we go, Berlin. Well, we've seen Berlin before. We know him very well. But he's coming out with a wall as his personal security guard. And Berlin now, he might have a new attitude and look, but I'm sure once we see him and this new look, and the first man he wants to face was Buff Bagwell, but Buff Bagwell's not around, so who will answer the call? Has anybody tried to ring Judy Bagwell to see where Buff Bagwell actually is? Just leave her a message pin on an answer machine or something like that.
What a fucking weird.
But Hacksaw Dim Duggan is coming out here right now. Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
If anyone is going to go against and defeat a German, it is going to be a man carrying Old Glory across his shoulder and a lump of wood in his hand. I mean, even that big lump of 2x4 that he carries isn't as big as Berlin's wood.
Right, Dow. And I see you've noticed who Berlin is now, but I can see you holding your wood in your hands as well. And not as impressive of Jim, but we'll see in action now. See Berlin, can he step up to the All-American? It's the most excited you've been since Fall Brawl has started.
Well, knowing the way that this card is going, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is going to beat Berlin.
His debut. We talk about making debuts. A new character debuted. Would he be successful? And Jim Duggan, we talk about past it, over the hill, 80s wrestlers. There's no way in hell he should be in WWE at this point as well. But to his credit, he's getting a huge chant though. But more empty seats.
Well, Jim Duggan goes to put his wood down, and that brings Berlin out and attacks him from behind. Lovely leaping dropkick.
Now Berlin with a huge right hands, but Irish whip to reverse.
I don't think this should be called Fall Brawl. It should be past and present.
Let's team an 80s over-the-hill superstar with someone current day. But here's a twist. Let's have the over-the-hill person win.
Well, Berlin sent to the outside, and that won't put him off.
As far as character changes go, though, this is a completely different look.
Well, without a doubt, and it's saying that he was, known as Das Wonder Kid for so long, and they went with this and thought it would be successful, and didn't really work. But I think he's a great talent. I think it's something that could have done a lot more with. I think nowadays, coming around, again, we talk about it, he would have, I think, had quite a bit of a success.
Absolutely. He would have destroyed Joey Ryan.
Well, do you imagine someone like Dragunov on NXT UK? Is someone like Alex Wright would have been, maybe?
Yeah.
Instead of having to be that kind of, Das Wonder Kid of dancing, or kind of like, oh, this is the kind of character we want you to be. Berlin from Berlin. Will you finish with the Berlin slam?
It's quite funny that it's Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
They're going to get David Hasselhoff to come and sing on top of it.
And now Duggan has taken control of Berlin. Got him up. Hey, you don't see that move anymore.
I haven't seen that move since the 80s. The inverted, the atomic drop. Double axe handle smash as well. Oh! So and Duggan's thinking, yeah,
I've got them in the palm of my hands.
Let's give him a quick USA chant just to make him happy. Oh, Duggan looking to duck, gets caught with a kick to the chin and a clothesline takedown, and gets his fingers stomped on by Berlin. Got a very interesting haircut.
I like the sideburns.
The sideburns that go nowhere.
Yeah, I think that's like his career.
I like the V in his hair.
I didn't notice that. Well, part of the reason they changed the character is because they didn't want him wrestling just in trunks anymore. They want long trunks. They said it's too much of a distraction.
Oh, yes.
But, you can see it.
Oh, you can't miss it.
He's not wearing knee pads.
No.
Just wrapped around his leg. Well, the fans chant USA, but Berlin having none of it. Snapmare into the sleeper. Oh, I've got Campwell. And now Duggan getting to his feet out of the submission. And backing Berlin up into the corner. Big shoulder blocks. Finally get some separation. Irish whip.
Well, I thought he was going to see the Mojo Rawley inspired 3-point stance.
But luckily Berlin with a boot up, taking Duggan down.
But Duggan ain't going to lay down for Berlin. He's full of American pride.
And Berlin just trying to choke the life out of the American made, Jim Duggan. Uh-oh.
He's Dugganing up.
I see Dugganing up. Oh, when he grabs Berlin front face lock. No, this is actually turned into a kind of amateur wrestling match.
Duggan backing Berlin up to the ropes. Referee calling for a break. Clean break between the two.
And that's Berlin showing Duggan a lot of respect. As loud as the crowd have been in any of the matches so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now collar and elbow tie up. Berlin with a go behind. Another snapmare by Berlin. And this time, oh my God, he's looking to kill him. If he puts that leg over and he gets hit with the Alex Wright special. But Duggan is getting smothered at the moment. You do not want to be in between the legs of Alex Wright or Berlin.
Luckily for Duggan, Berlin manoeuvred it to a sleeper hold. He said, no, you're not ready for the old cock jammer.
Well, I tell you, that is the most deadliest finisher in professional wrestling.
You're slightly envious of Jim Duggan now, aren't you?
Do you know, Jim Duggan, I don't usually like him, but he's been lucky in this match. And the power advantage obviously goes to Berlin as well.
Now Berlin using the ropes for a bit of extra leverage with a side headlock.
Duggan trying to get up to his feet. Again with that sleeper in, Berlin trying to put him to sleep. The fans are definitely quieted down now as Duggan fights his way out with the forearms.
Oh, tripped by Duggan. Back body drop.
And Berlin's gone to the outside. Oh my God, and the wall there. Moving those mats on the outside. How thin are those mats, Dan?
Those mats are just wafer thin, mere millimetres thick. But it's preferable to being take rate.
How did the referee not see that? Come on. He pretended that, a fly got in his way or something?
He blinked.
Even the wall acted like, oh, hang on a minute. Right on the concrete. I think Berlin could have got the job done, but he's going to try again.
Oh, Duggan can barely stand up.
Oh, he's going to go for the net breaker.
That's like a stunner.
And thankfully this match is over.
Thank fuck for that.
Berlin gets the win with a reverse net breaker. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Again.
Awful. I mean, you've got someone like Berlin, he's got to kind of try and carry a former 80s wrestler through a match and trying to make it something entertaining and good. It's no easy feat. Well,
the sunglasses come on and Berlin means business beating a legend like Jim Duggan. And how much more success will he have in WCW?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say none.
But at least the younger guy won.
Bagwell's turned up.
Well, Buff Bagwell's too late for his match.
What reason does Buff have for being late, I wonder?
I was doing all the blow in my hotel room before I actually came to the show. I think that's what he was saying.
My mum wouldn't let me out.
I've got to finish that mountain of coke that I had. Otherwise, exactly, my mum had to finish me off first. I don't know what Judy or Buff get up to. I cannot confirm or deny. But the fans still love Jim Duggan. And here comes Buff Bagwell.
Hugs Duggan, who pushes him off.
Well, Buff Bagwell walks away. But up next, we've got the WWE Tag Team titles on the line. It's Harlem Heat, the reunited Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Steve Ray versus the West Texas Rednecks.
The excitement is palpable.
This is two teams. This is why WWE Tag Team division is the strongest it's ever been.
So, well, James, at least there's one thing we can be sure of. This pay-per-view can't get any worse than it has.
No, we've got Harlem Heat coming out. We love Booker T, the young and upcoming Booker T, who was doing well with the television title, and then they decided to put him back with Stevie Ray. But the black and white have gone. They've gone now. NWO are no more. But again, Steve Ray's another one of those guys that I just don't like. I don't think he's a very good worker. I think Booker T is obviously the talent in that family. Can Steve Ray prove me wrong in this match? Don't get me wrong. I think Harlem's a great tag team. But Booker T, I think, deserves a lot more.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think Booker T is one of the only one of the shining lights going through in the company? I mean, because, we know what happens throughout the rest of this year with a lot of its main talent leaving. Do you think Booker T is kind of like the only shining light in WCW, or should he have jumped ship sooner?
I think maybe he jumped ship sooner, but I think he did find he's one of the only kind of success stories that they had. There were so many that kind of departed or ended up wanting to leave that he actually, found his place. But I think Booker would have been a success, and we saw it in WWE anyway, because they completely knocked him down and then built him back up again, and he still had the fans by his side. So there's no doubt Booker would have found success kind of either way. But, I mean, going against West Texas Rednecks, we've talked about tonight the kind of the gimmicks in wrestling and these kind of rednecks who are known for... I mean, this for WWE as a Southern company is not a good storyline because it makes it look like these are the kind of people that are watching the show as well, as not worldwide as Attitude Era is, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kurt Hennig again is another guy who's passed it, along with Barry and Kendall Windham.
So Kurt Hennig, he was a naturally gifted wrestler back in his day. Now he's just donning a waist jacket, cowboy hat, and holding a cowbell. It
is sad, isn't it? And Barry Windham, again, a great talent. Never maybe had the look to be like a proper star, but still quite a good worker. And of course, in there with his Kendall Windham. There we go. The WWE Tag Team titles on the line.
Harlem Heat versus the West Texas Rednecks.
And in WWF at the time, Tag Team Champions, probably Rock and Sock Connection. So, I mean, two different tag teams. But again, the tag team division is something that's been severely lacking in WCW over the past couple of years. I mean, the title didn't really exist even in 1998. So, to see it back on pay-per-view. But again, it's just, there's talent there, but it's just not the right matches, are they? Do you know what I mean? They're not just putting the right...
Absolutely not, no. They could have had a few throwaway squash matches and they could have had a few very good big matches. They've got the talent there, they're just not using it as it should be.
There's one thing about Booker T is no doubt he is over with the WWE crowd. They appreciate his talent. Like I said, one of the few shining lights. But Kendall starts in there and Booker T is a house of fire at the moment.
Looking for a spinning heel kick, but Windham ducks underneath the bottom rope and gets out of the way. Runs away from Booker T, lures him into the ring, and now he's... I think Hennig there with a bit of an assist holding his leg down as Booker T was in the ring.
Goes for the clothesline of Booker T again, another one. Crowd to their feet this time. And he brings his brother Barry in.
So it's brothers versus brothers.
No brother. And Booker now.
And Kurt Hennig.
Jabs and a huge heel kick. It's a shame they're not matching outfits really, the Harlem Heat, but still.
Nah.
I think Stevie's tried and Booker just said, no, I'm going to wear what the outfit I wear at the moment.
Well, they've both got flames. So they've got the heat.
And Stevie, they're just the way he punches and stuff. I don't like it. Of course, Wyndham's married into the Rotundos as well. And Barry taken down. Booker with the atomic drop on Kendall and a boot to Barry.
Stevie Ray's getting fired up now, but Barry shuts him off.
Now Kendall tags in and Kurt helping out ringside. Talk about broken down wrestlers like Shane Douglas earlier. They talk about Kurt Hennig just can't go anymore, and that's why he's basically a glorified manager. His back's broken down, and was it a success to be WCW? For him, maybe the paycheck helped, but it wasn't right, was it?
Nah. Looking little Curtis is watching at home.
But yeah, he should be around as Kendall with the leg drop to Stevie.
That's all right, Dad. I'll make you proud.
And Barry Windham with a DDT to Stevie Ray.
So you say the Wyndhams are kind of married into the Rotundas. So you've got Hennig as someone who's associated with the Rotundas, eh?
Yeah,
B team.
So the B team have had history in the past.
Wyndham with the elbow drop though onto Ray.
It's almost like their job is just quieting the crowd down as much as possible. They go, right, okay, you were making noise a minute ago, right, let's take Booker T completely out of the match.
Well, we could have some very, very good matches, but then we don't want to take the limelight from shining on Hogan's bald head.
Hogan wants the main event.
This is all just build up for the Hogan match. Oh, power slam by Stevie Ray, but Wyndham manages to get out of it rather simply.
Now he tags in Kendall and Booker gets a tag now. And Booker now with a huge right hands, taking out Kendall, taking out Barry.
Irish whip to Kendall. Oh, side kick to the head. Sidewalk slam from Booker into the cover, but only a 2 count.
2. Now Booker trying to get the crowd by his side.
Not too much though, because Hogan will be pissed off with him backstage.
Well, you know what Booker thinks of Hulk Hogan anyway, so...
Well, he's certainly going to be coming for him, brother.
We know that's about, but as Booker T trying to take Kurt Hennig off, but Kendall tries to slow him down, no effect. And Booker T's just taking out the West Texas Rednecks. And now a slight mistake as Barry and Kurt on the outside.
Well, we all know that the 80s throwbacks are going to win this match.
Well, the
it's kind of setting up a theme, isn't it, for Hogan to retire on tonight?
We know the referee can't see this at the moment.
Absolutely not, no. He might have a fly in his eye.
I think about the Wyndhams, and the parents must have changed their thinking somewhat with their kids' names. Because, first child, Barry's quite a solid name, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
Then it's like, what should we do next for it? Should we try something else?
Well, Barry likes his Kendall, so should we call him Kendall?
Exactly, so Kendall, and you think, well, that's quite jazzy name, but Kendall and Barry. Like, doesn't
Well,
really
we're going to
go.
have a son. We're going to call him Stephen. Or Stevie, if you will.
Steve, yeah.
What's the next one? Well, Stevie likes reading books. Oh, he's a booker.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't think about that's ridiculous, their names as well.
What should we give him as a middle name? Well, he likes drinking coffee, so we call him T.
T, yeah, just to annoy him. And now Kendall is working over Booker T.
Booker trying to fight his way back into this. A few elbows to the midsection, breaks the sleeper hold. Now Booker's firing back as best he can. Irish whip reversed, ducks under a big boot attempt from Kendall. The axe kick.
I think Kendall went down a bit too soon with that, but Spinner Rooney. And another Spinner Rooney, spin around by Barry Windham with a clothesline.
And Henning comes in with a punch to the head to Booker. Stevie trying to level the playing field.
Stevie has not helped his brother at all in this match.
And the referee was distracted throughout that tag, but yet it's a legal tag. And he gets thrown out to Kurt Hennig and bounced off barricade. And even though the referee was diving out of the ring, looking straight at Kurt Hennig, he missed him attacking Booker T.
I'm going to start thinking Stevie Ray's in cahoots for the West Texas Rednecks soon.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Booker T's just been beaten down, and Stevie has not helped the situation. And now it's Barry Windham, who's got Booker T in trouble. And a spinning back suplex goes for the cover, but no, Booker managing to kick out.
It is awful. And
now Barry Windham putting Booker T up. Going to suplex him off the top. Oh!
Rolls over into a cover. But Stevie Ray actually and doing some good whilst coming in. Well, the thing about these, the Windham brothers especially, like this, the 80s throwbacks, that they don't sell for anyone. Do you think they're all backstage saying, yeah, these fucking young bucks, we ain't going to sell for them?
Do you know, I think that's part of it. I think they look at the smaller guys and go, well, they're just cruiserweights, you know. And I think with Booker T, maybe they look at him and just think, like, what's the point? But they're selling ability as well. Like, you know, people like Steve Ray and Rick Steiner, it's all awful, isn't it? You know. So,
well, you know, you've seen them get hit, taken down, and then they just immediately back up again. You know, it's like as if they'd never been touched.
And now Booker gets sent into that top turnbuckle, and it's Kendall with the left hands, Irish whip. Booker manages to jump over, turn it into a sunset flip attempt, pin, but Barry Windham up to break it. Now Kendall with a front face lock. Booker backing him up in the corner. Stevie gets a tag, but of course the referee didn't see it.
There's definitely one tag the ref wouldn't say. I mean, the
Windham's tagged behind the referee's back and he didn't see it but allowed it. But when it happens to Harlem Heat, it's a completely different way of reasoning.
And now Barry Windham's got the sleeper on Booker T. And thanks to, again, poor official. Like I said, the WCW officials are the worst in wrestling. And let me guess what's going to happen here. Kurt's going to try and get a cheap shot.
The referee was looking at it.
The referee saw it.
He even pointed at Kurt Hennig. For fuck's sake. Stevie Ray, you best not come in. He was talking to Stevie Ray as the Windham's tagged, and yet it's allowed.
And now Kendall on the second rope.
I don't know about Stevie Ray being in West Texas Rednecks. I think the referee is.
No, the referee's got paid a little bit. Stevie breaking up the count. I mean, this pay-per-view has the ability to make a 10-minute match feel like a half-hour contest. And booking out stopped by Kendall. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. He gets the tag, but the referee was looking at...
Oh,
not again.
Again.
Second time.
A false tag.
And Stevie's in, but he's not legal when he hits the clotheslines. The referee just sitting back.
And a clubbing blow for Kurt Hennig as well, for all his involvement in the match.
And now Stevie's going to go for flapjack.
That's the clothesline attempt from Kendall.
And now Booker T's out the ring. The referee's looking on Kurt.
Irish whip reversal. Cowbell to the back of the head.
We need more cowbell.
Stevie Ray wasn't the illegal man, and the referee was trying to get him out of the ring, okay? Right, can we just remember this? As Kendall Windham goes into a cover.
But of course, referee can't see any of this. Booker T's still the legal man. He comes off the top. Missile drop kick. 1, 2, 3. And Harlem Heat are 9 times WCW Tag Team Champions.
And finally, the good prevail.
Yes. Well, there we go. Dan, what are your thoughts on that match?
The Windhams were awful. I think, again, you know, they're
throwback wrestlers that shouldn't even be around. Selling's terrible. Stevie Ray, you know, he was quite harmless in this match, to be fair. But I'm just glad that the right team actually won the match.
Yeah, I mean, Booker's kind of the most talented guy of that group then. I think it shone through with that. Like the Harlem Heat, again, 9-time tag team champions. What an accomplishment it is for these brothers who beat the other team. And hopefully, well, is this the end for West Texas Rednecks?
I fucking hope so.
We'll see what happens when it comes to the tag team division. Of course, it'll be Harlem Heat versus Nobbs and Morris, probably at the next pay-per-view.
Absolutely, yes. Nobbs and Morris with a victory.
Oh, my God. But up next, US title match. Chris Benoit versus Sid Vicious. They give us something good, and then they give us something Sid.
I mean, Booker T, the man who shone out in this in that last match, and Chris Benoit, I mean, they had a very, very good best-of-7 series. And, you could have had something that kind of preempted that. But no, we get Harlem Heat versus the Wyndhams and Sid versus Benoit.
Well, let's not forget, Benoit won the US title by defeating David Flair for it on Nitro. And he's held it on for at least a month now. And Sid has gone 76-0. He's known as the Millennium Man. And he says he's undefeated. Even though we have seen Sid lose in matches since then, he is still undefeated. And by God, WWE is sticking to it. Will he beat Benoit here tonight? Well, look how the show's gone so far. But let's hope... Oh, God, Sid's going to be so slow, isn't he? Let's hope Benoit does something. Well, the Revolution have had a strong night, though. Shane Douglas and Perry Saturn losing to Hugh Morris and to...
I think it's the only time we've seen Hugh Morris and Brian Knobbs actually win a match.
Perry Saturn of Revolution lost to, of course, Rick Steiner and now Chris Benoit in action. How to treat your face teams. Oh, he's 79-0 at the moment. Ah, well...
What kind of morons do you think were fans of Sid Vicious?
I really don't know. I honestly have no idea what people saw. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know he's big, but really, I don't really get it. But we had a chance earlier to speak to Sid, didn't we? And we asked him a couple of questions down. And do you want to play the interview for us?
I am Sid Vicious, and I am the ruler.
That's what she said. You're the ruler?
Of the world.
Of the world, alright. Let's hope you do well later tonight. So that was early on today, and of course, Sid's very excited about his effort. Glad he talked so much, and the Millennium Man. I mean,
what did Benoit have to say about this match then, James? I heard you interviewed him earlier.
He said, hey, buddy, what's that all about? I could have either done that or the other one, so I'm quite lucky. But, I mean, is Sid Vicious a guy that should be around this time?
No.
Name me 3 things wrong with him.
Everything he says, everything he does, and everything he is.
Well, if you had half the brain that you did, or whatever Sid said, we'll see some of the classic Sid quotes. But here comes Chris Benoit, another young, up-and-coming guy. And let's face it, he's not getting out of here as US champion, is he? The sign says Revolution rules behind it. I think that just says it all about WCW right now. So here we go. We're going to get Sid versus Benoit and a collar elbow tie-up to start. And Benoit backing Sid up into the corner. You would think the power falls with Sid, and Benoit's got everything else.
So would one thing this match kind of help elevate Benoit? I mean, Sid's been kind of dabbling with the upper card for a little while. Now he's going against Benoit. Is that in Benoit's favour, or is it in Sid's favour?
I think if you believe what WWE says as well about, just being in the ring with a star like that. Look at Sid at this point in time, former WWF and WCW champion, going against someone like Benoit. Like I said, Benoit didn't even hold a title during his whole run. US title was his first single championship that he's been able to win. So in association it would be, but Benoit's going to have to do all the heavy lifting in this one against Sid, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And Benoit doesn't kind of go into a match like half speed either. He's fully finger on the pulse. So is he going to have to kind of adapt to what Sid brings? Because Sid is the more senior wrestler in this match.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. I think we've seen with the older guys, they're not trying as hard as the younger ones, and then that offsets it. You talk about selling problems as well. Sid was never a great wrestler, but had a good match and come along his level, it would be Benoit.
But then we've kind of fought that off through every other single match, like, past versus future, so to speak, and it's kind of not lived up to the hype.
No, but again, it's nice that there's a bit of direction in WCW, isn't there? It's not just matches thrown for no case. They are trying to set out like, it's the young versus old, but they're not doing it right.
Would you have been more invested in this match if it was kind of like a 2001 Survivor or Invasion kind of angle, where you have got the new versus the old, all the new have kind of banded together and they're sick of the old. They're kind of like doing what, their generation of a shoot would be, and saying, look, we're sick of you getting all the opportunities, us new lads want a chance to kind of take things over and that. And, I know the main event kind of won't be along them lines, but every other match kind of is.
This is the thing, and weirdly enough, in Hogan's eyes, Sting is probably much younger guy than he is, and he's probably seen him as a guy like, I can give you a shot, become 9-time champion. Things a little bit kind of weird like that. It's just they never had faith, and the older guys were so protected of their spots. They were never allowed to kind of touch that main event. This is the closest Benoit would get until they panicked later on in his time. But it's WWE's own fault that they gave the other guys too much power.
Well, you can kind of see the undoing of WCW, like as you break it down, with Sid, Brian Knobbs, the Wyndhams, Rick Steiner, and all of these lot, they're wrestlers that shouldn't even be here, but they are because of who they know or who they used to be.
And also, like we talk about the invasion, what happened afterwards, the people that actually had another shot in WWE, the people we've just listed, were never offered a chance because they weren't good enough to cut it. It's as simple as that. So this is the interesting thing we're seeing. And someone like Benoit, they had a chance. What about Benoit versus the Goldberg match? That would have been something completely different, wouldn't it?
That would have been quite lush, actually.
But Benoit, who's been getting thrown about by Sid, his legs, same size on the canvas.
But the eye rake, classic early 90s, 80s throwback move.
And that's what you want to hear as a babyface, for the fans to be cheering gold to Sid rather than your own name. It's obviously going that way with him, the streak and everything like this. But again, Sid is not the right man to be going against Goldberg.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Or to be brought back and squashed by Goldberg and then moved on. There's no doubt. Hogan versus Sting match is fine, but it shouldn't be for the WWE World Heavyweight title at this point.
No, absolutely not. There's a lot more deserving. We've seen
through the card, I've seen about 5 or 6 more deserving people to be having a title run than, Goldberg versus, Sting versus Hogan.
And Sid looks absolutely shattered already, even though he's been worked on.
Benoit looks like he's actually been in a match. He dodges the oncoming Sid though.
Sid is just...
He even falls slowly.
I just, like when someone just doesn't get it and Sid...
just doesn't.
No, and his leg gets caught at the ring post.
Oh, wow. That's very vicious by Benoit. He had Sid's leg in between the ring post and the steel steps and just running kicks the steel stairs. I mean, I don't think Sid could have a worse leg injury than that during a wrestling match.
No, I don't think ever. And Benoit now's going to do it again. The referee's discretion.
Benoit, you can see he's actually trying his best to get a decent match out of this. He's doing what every smaller guy would do against a bigger opponent, trying to take down legs, and just doing everything he can, but I don't know, Sid's just not playing the game.
But it's even like he's just kind of his look and kind of the Crippler gimmick and the outfit just looks like a star as well. Yeah, he's a little bit smaller than the average guy, but there's still stuff he can do. And look at that.
But that Sid, who's just had his leg worked on for a couple of very hard shots, has just plucked Benoit out the sky and just hurt him. But Benoit managing to turn it round, a lovely German suplex.
And the fans get on their feet for that one. And now Benoit's going to try it again.
Sid trying with a back elbow, but Benoit ducking it. But now Sid's going for the knees to the gut.
And now Benoit off the ropes, trying to go for a crucifix.
But Sid just too powerful, even with what should be damaged leg. Finally realised that his leg's been working over and struggles to get up to his feet. Or is that just Sid being slow?
I think just Sid, just his normal speed. And Benoit's tried his best. This match has not been too bad, actually. And now Sid's going to try his best.
Picking Benoit up. Oh, and now Sid gets in a sleeper hold.
The old Cobra clutch in, and Benoit might be fading.
Oh, and he turns it into kind of like an Iranagi. Sid into a cover, but Benoit managing to kick out.
Oh. And Sid might have underestimated Chris Benoit. Now it's working over the right hand.
Now Sid the sloth.
Honestly, we talk about Pete Dunne. I've never seen a Pete Dunne that I've not liked. I don't think I've watched a Sid match that I've enjoyed. Like, well, there might be one or two, like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, but it's just the shit, you know?
Who'd you rather watch 5 matches of, Mojo or Sid?
Oh, Sid, but still.
So you rate Sid higher than Mojo?
Mojo's the worst I've ever seen. And now Sid with a double knees down. And the fans just more interested in what's happening in the crowd than anything else.
Because you can look away for 5 minutes and not actually miss a thing when Sid's in offence. This match has been going on for about 10 minutes and it feels like it's been going on for about 45.
It's only 2 minutes in. It's like the opposite of Aerosmith. I do want to miss. And now Benoit's got Sid again going for the German. Sid missed with the elbow. Benoit just on the attack.
Benoit thrown into the corner by Vicious, but managing to get the feet up and again going down to the knee, dropping Sid to the mat. Looking to get the crossface locked in.
There he goes, tapping. Well, there was an obvious tap out there. And again, bleached blonde.
But wasn't Charles holding up like the Sid Vicious sign for him? Like saying he's 76-0 or whatever it is.
And now Sid's back to his feet.
No, Benoit drops into the mat, but his foot hooked over the bottom rope.
I don't get I think with Charles Robson, I never got over Mini Nate. I think he should have carried on ref rope. I think that'd been great. But rope break and Sid is on his knees and Benoit can feel this now.
Benoit kicking him down. Vicious is on his back on the mat and looks like Benoit's going to go flying from the top. Looking for that diving headbutt. No, way Benoit hits nothing but mat.
And the fans definitely not happy with Sid all this match. And now Sid's got him in position. This could be the end.
Huge powerbomb from Sid.
And there you go, 3 count. And your new United States champion.
And 80-0.
Sid Vicious. Dan, what are your thoughts on that match?
The wrong person 100% won. That is it. It was probably one of the worst Benoit matches I've seen of Benoit. It was, nah.
I mean, WWE's big plan is to pit Sid versus Goldberg. But I've got a horrible feeling as well. Sid's going to be involved in the world title with Hogan. There's no United States Championship. So this title that, you know, the guy's worked all his career to get, just been taken out by a powerbomb by Sid. And is this the man for the new man? Benoit tried his best. Nothing else he could do, is there?
No. You know, Benoit, I think he gave a very good performance. You know, you could definitely tell which one was phoning it in and which one was trying. And it is just diabolical. And who in the back thought, yeah, this Sid's a good man. He's a good worker. He's definitely one for the future.
That's the one we're going to put Goldberg against. And speaking of Goldberg, though, he's going to be in action next against DDP. And this has the makings of a good match. But again, WWE just doing the same things and just failing each and every time.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got, I don't know, with Goldberg and DDP, they're both relative new guys. I think, you know, obviously Goldberg's the newer new guy.
Well, DDP took Goldberg to his limits. Goldberg's been entwined in, like, you know, 3 or 4 different feuds, and now Page has finally called him out.
But again, with, you know, with the likes of DDP, he was so over as a face, just like Rusev Day. And they're like, what can we do? Oh, let's end it. Let's just turn him heel and just completely fuck it over.
Well, again, it's the guys who are faces on top, like Hogan, who are getting worried about it and say, wait a minute, let's put Page back in this and let's push, you know, these other guys still that we want to do. It's like Goldberg's just been doing nothing these past couple of months but feuding with different people and never having matches. It's like Kevin Nash, the whole Kevin Nash, Rick Steiner, Sid Vicious thing. And now it's just moved on to this.
Yeah. Oh, well. No one has logic like WCW. I think it's on...
But like I said, Page was hugely over. Had the great match with Macho Man Randy Savage that we saw on the podcast as well. And also the Diamond Cutter is one of the best moves in wrestling. So, you know, DDP has a lot to offer. But with WWF, they're to blame as well. How they handled him when he first joined them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, turning him into a stalker and just completely fucking it over from there, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Page that we knew here, definitely got hurt in the next few years. But the funny thing about Goldberg versus DDP, faced on Halloween Havoc, but because Hogan and Warrior went so long, the pay-per-view feed cut out, and then money for the fans, and play it next night at Nitro for free. So they fucked that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But here comes Goldberg, and they've put the theme over the Megadeth one, which is a shame. And is he the only great thing about WCW left? I mean, we talk about the mid-card talent and everything like this. Is he the last kind of major star they've got?
Major star they've got? I would say he is the last main eventer that they've got. You know, they've obviously mid-card, whether they choose to use them or just fucking fuck them over completely, it's a different matter. But, you know, with Goldberg, he's the last good thing that they've got. He's kind of like, you know, we're resting the company on your huge traps.
Or he comes out with the security, with the police officers by his side.
So do you understand why I'm such a big fan of Goldberg from this era?
Yeah, Goldberg's in this era. We talk about would he work 20 years later? I don't know if fans would buy into a streak that much, but a man with such intensity, it's incredible. WCW didn't just go, well, put the title on him.
I think fans would buy into a streak that much. Come on, Oscar.
Yeah, but I'm talking about someone like Goldberg. We talk about someone like... This is not a slight Goldberg, but Goldberg's and Sid Vicious's wrestling abilities are a lot closer than maybe other people on the roster. And get people to do most of the work, it would then... People might, you know... We talk about the internet wrestling community, might moan about, oh, my guys had to bounce around for your guys. So, you know, we see the sort of Ziggler when Goldberg came back.
But that's the thing with... That's the huge difference between Goldberg and Sid. With Goldberg, they know his weaknesses, so they get the match over and done with quickly. With Sid, the match might be over quick, it's about 15 minutes.
But it's interesting to see Goldberg, you know, especially the past couple of years, and WWE not using him right. You talk about, you know, aside from the streak, since then his handling's been awful. You know, he never got his comeuppance against. He never got to get even with Kevin Nash, did he? You know, so
no.
Therein lies the problem with it. Don't get me wrong, Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan I would watch. You know what I mean? Again, like the red and yellow versus Goldberg, build it up to Starrcade, but they never had that idea.
Because Goldberg didn't want to go down to... Because Hogan didn't want to go down to Goldberg.
Because he knew the fans would support Goldberg over him. You know?
Yeah.
Goldberg, like I said, is the most popular guy.
Hogan has to be the best, the loudest cheered in the match. You know, unless he's a heel and he's doing it for the right reasons, then, yeah, he has to be the main one.
The most reason people are watching are, you know, due to Goldberg. That's the main thing. And DDP now get free.
Finding a silver chain upon his person.
And he pushed the referee in. Looks like all those coins...
He had a roll of quarters in his hands to help with the punches. Tries teeing off on Goldberg, but Goldberg's having none of it. Punches him so hard he falls out the ring.
And DDP now is going to try and take a second. I did take Goldberg to the limit at Havoc, but that was a long time ago.
Well, you know this Goldberg chant isn't piped in.
And the fans definitely behind him as DDP now going to try and go toe-to-toe with Goldberg.
Looking at this whole card, though, there is so much possibilities you could have had for some fucking great matches.
Without doubt. And yet, it's WCW. I don't know if they're worried or, you know, whatever. Just they're repeating the same thing that we've seen and the same results, you know?
Yeah.
They're never moving forward.
Well, Hogan's probably in about like, trust me, brother. They want to see me.
Exactly. They want to see me winning in the main event. Everybody wants to see that, but that is the main storyline of WCW at the moment. Like, can you trust Hulk Hogan?
Can WCW trust Hulk Hogan? Just put the company on my shoulders, brother.
And Goldberg's not even been in WCW for 2 years yet.
No. So can Page get a better than normal match out of Goldberg? You know, a more competitive, better match? Or can he... Is he not that able? I don't know. What do you think of Page carrying matches? I
think Page ain't too bad. I think he's a Bible hand. I don't think he's like kind of top tier worker. But like I said, he's dependable talent. And when you've got that, and especially with someone like Goldberg maybe needs that in his matches... You know, Page could definitely do it. I think Page's problem was the character is great. It was just his age caught up with him. Oh, Page grabs the mic.
Says you better shut the hell up chanting for Goldberg or I'm out of here. And that just brings the fans into Goldberg a lot more. So Page jumping over barricade. Goldberg following him quite closely though. Now they're fighting in the fans. Page always said he was the people's champion. Now he's getting beaten up in front of his former people. As Goldberg throws him back over barricade.
Whereas Goldberg comes back in, Page had him scouted, double axe smash, and now trying to take the big man down. Irish whip reversed.
Goldberg looking to power him up onto his shoulder, but Page with the backside looking for the diamond cutter, but Goldberg pushes it off.
Oh.
Goldberg successful this time now, getting Page on his shoulder and just slamming him down to the canvas.
And it is just raw power, being able to pick up Page down like a rag doll.
Oh, But Page, while jabbing the referee in the eye, low blows Goldberg, reaches into his pants to grab a set of knucks, knocks Goldberg out.
And now he's taunting the crowd, and he's got Goldberg right where he wants him, and he's calling for the diamond cutter.
And Page just kicking Goldberg's head and choking him out with his foot across the throat.
And if I was Diamond Dallas Page, I wouldn't be fucking taunting. I'd be hitting diamond cutter on Goldberg as soon as possible.
And then probably hitting another 2 after that, just to make sure.
You know, it's just get him down, get him job done. I mean, Goldberg, at the moment, I think he's only lost maybe once or twice. Debut, I don't know, maybe even one time.
Goldberg still a bit dazed from that knuckle shot to the head, but slowly trying to recover. Goldberg fighting out with some punches to the midsection as Page was taking too long.
And now distracting the referee, going into his trunks, and again, shot to the face, and Page has got Goldberg down. Hits the elbow, goes for the cover.
But Goldberg managing to kick out.
Oh.
Or is this Page thinking he's already got this one and being a bit too cocky? Is that, kind of the thing that's slowing him down?
I definitely think this is a different Page to what we saw against Goldberg last time out. He definitely backs his abilities, but I think he's going to come back to haunt him.
Page with his feet on the top rope, getting some extra leverage on that headlock.
And now Page using the ropes. And the referees, like I said, they are fucking awful in WCW.
Absolutely. Well, Goldberg's hands dropped once. It's dropped twice, one more. And Page has got this victory in the bag. No. Goldberg managing to fight back into this.
He won't go down easy. And the fans desperate for him to get to his feet.
Elbows to the midsection. But now a clubbing blow to the back of the head. Oh, now Goldberg's pissed off. Goes for a shot to the head, but Goldberg blocks it. Fires off with a few huge rights of his own, followed by a big boot.
And look how happy the fans are. Finally, up on their feet.
The fans are too happy. They're taking away Hogan's happiness. We're going to have Goldberg lose.
Oh, my God.
Goldberg looking for a hip lock takedown, but DDP turns it around into a lovely DDT.
No, but Goldberg managing to get shot up at 2.
2! Even though his foot was under the bottom rope, but we just ignore that.
And now what's Page doing?
Looking for a spear, but Goldberg catches him with double underhook. Lovely suplex.
Goes for the cover, but no, Page managing to kick out. And now here comes Canyon and Bam Bam.
The rest of the Jersey Triad.
Well, Goldberg doesn't need any friends, but Canyon's up.
Smashing a plate over Goldberg's head, I believe. Rock bottom.
Page into the cover.
No, Goldberg managing to kick out.
And Goldberg won't go down easy. And Page get the referee's face. And here comes Canyon and Bam Bam.
Because the referee definitely can't see that. Goldberg takes them both down, though.
Double clothesline, Page.
Page gets speared.
And what happens after the spear?
Goldberg's busted open.
Well, he's just hit the spear.
Well, James is going to jack him up and hammer him down.
And Goldberg beats Diamond Dallas Page. And that's how you book a guy strongly. Bill Goldberg. Dan, what are your thoughts on that match?
Absolutely, yeah. It's probably been the best match of the night so far. And it was probably one of the shortest. It's how you book someone. If Page knew he wasn't going to, he had a couple of shots with the brass knucks. That didn't work out. He had, his help come down and hit him. That still didn't work out. And Goldberg still comes out on top. In emphatic fashion as well.
Without a shadow of a doubt, like I said, it is the best match of the night, and Goldberg celebrates, and we'll see what they do next with him. But like I said, right result.
So, just like going on to Sid's kind of award for the last little while, would I be correct in saying that Goldberg must have won more matches in that time than Sid has without defeat?
Yeah, exactly, but they're not been counted.
Because if he has only literally lost since the Taser incident, which is the last one of my recognition, then he must be on like 105 or 130.
Yeah, like I said, he's been undefeated since losing, but a lot count. I don't know why a lot count it, and I don't think Sid is beating 80 people either. But obviously they're leading towards that,
or at least it'll be 370-1. Which is still a fucking impressive record.
Exactly.
But anywho,
we've only got one match left, and what a match it should be. Because can we trust Hulk Hogan?
Can we trust Sting?
Yeah. Can we trust Lex Luger?
Can we trust Charles Robinson?
Can we trust WCW?
No.
I don't think we can. But that's what the main event is all about.
That's what this whole pay-per-view has pretty much been about. I mean, again, going back to the Goldberg match, that was a match with a bit of meaning. But that has been kind of like the only match of the night with a good bit of meaning.
I think we can quite safely say that is going to be our match of the night. But I think I worry for this pay-per-view's rating in the end. Because unless this delivers something special, then I think it's going to be in serious trouble.
Well, we've seen a lot of drama going throughout this match. We've seen Sting getting attacked, Hogan blaming Luger blaming Hogan, And
Hogan meeting up with people like Bret Hart and Macho Man Randy Savage. So we know Hogan.
Hogan standing by a white Hummer.
Exactly, and White Hummer, we don't even know who did that yet. So it's all been these kind of questions. But at least we've got Michael Buffer. At least he's been paid.
Indeed.
He's
been paid probably more than Goldberg has for this pay-per-view. We could keep Chris Jericho, but wouldn't we rather use his wage on getting Michael Buffer to announce the pay-per-view main event every month? I said...
So as Sting's eerie music plays, can he become 9-time champion here tonight, much like Harlem Heat did early on?
Well, we've got two Stings in the crowd. We've got an old school Sting and we've got a new school Sting.
But if I was Sting now, I wouldn't trust anybody.
No, we've already got that one for Austin.
Okay, I would just trust myself.
That'll work.
So the biggest match WWE can put on at the moment is Sting versus Hulk Hogan.
With all the talent that they've got in their roster, Sting versus Hogan is what we get.
I think Nash lost a match for Hogan, so he had to retire. As for Hole, he is experiencing his problems with his, what do they call it, demons. His demons.
And drugs.
Well, he's off his fucking tits at the moment.
The old drug demon.
Woo! The Sting is here.
Where's Flair?
Flair was president and he's left to go with Piper somewhere, and they've been really quiet recently as well.
Got their own demons.
Yeah, they're doing their own stuff.
Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Bush.
Same with Macho Man as well. He's kind of,
Oh yeah, I'm going to find the nearest tree and I'm going to hit it.
And Scott Steiner.
Right. They were on a big fucking Luke-sized binge.
Massive bender. That's what they were on. Not that
Lodi
way,
and
no.
Lenny were on the card tonight. Lodi and Lenny were on the card tonight. I got them massive benders.
Well, here comes the red and yellow of Hulk Hogan. And he's made in the US of A.
Did you see that they actually blanked out a WWF World's Worst Federation?
Yeah.
Or Worst Wrestling Federation.
Isn't that hilarious that they're not allowed to show WWF in any fashion? And the fans who erupted when they first saw Hogan are now, still happy to see him, but we've had this for, at this point in time, nearly 20 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, people moaned about John Cena. Hogan was 15 years. And he got paid 25% of the pay-per-view profits as well. We were hot. 25% was in Hulk Hogan's pocket.
Well, I'd say at least 75% of the credit due to the success of the pay-per-view was down to Hogan.
Well, back in '94 maybe, but nowadays, I mean, it's incredible to think Hogan. And people say, well, yeah, it's just WCW. No, look what he did with Vince McMahon as well. There was definitely something Hogan could do that maybe no other wrestler could do, and that's get the best deal possible for himself. And that's not a knock at Hogan.
Do you think he had pictures of Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon in very compromising positions?
I don't know. I'm not knocking. People might think this is a knock at Hulk Hogan, but to get in that position, because Vince McMahon is known to you.
Well, it can't be a knock. It is just a fucking pure stroke of genius.
Yeah, exactly. Hogan is just, he knows exactly, he never really puts a foot wrong when it comes to that. He always comes up smelling of roses. Even the most recent scandal coming through.
What, when he was being extremely racist?
Yes.
And yet still not on camera as well.
Oh, he has a sex tape.
Yeah,
but you never ever want to see that again.
I kind of curiously though, again.
And here comes Bret Hart.
For no apparent reason, will be. Is that the same Bret Hart that refused to drop the title to Hogan at WrestleMania 9?
Yeah, Hogan was horrible to Bret. He wanted a match at SummerSlam and he never got it. So Bret is literally just out here to say hello to both of them and fuck off again.
And they both had really dodgy matches with Shawn Michaels as well.
Yeah. Well, Bret is gone, so now it's going to be Sting and Hogan. That's what it's all about. The red and yellow versus the black and white.
If only Hogan's colours was red and black, it would have been the Wolfpack versus the NWO. Well, we're not going there no more.
And the fans so excited by this mammoth encounter.
Hogan doing a few laps of Sting. Getting himself worked up for this. Fucking hell, Hogan's bald underneath that bandana. It shocks me every time.
Well, look at this test of strength and neither man getting on top at the moment.
Both men rolling around the ring ropes trying to tie up. Referee's doing the best he can to kind of get between them and separate them. Finally gets these two beheaded, but Hogan goes straight back to shoving. And they did say once the bell rings, it is all about business and not friendship.
Well, Hogan swore on his family that he's not going to stab in the back, but he did say he's going to kick his ass. And it means about being the champion. Hogan's serious, brother.
What you going to do, Sting? Woo! Woo!
Woo! Well, Hogan with his finger up, Sting saying, don't point at me. Do you know how I'm Sting?
I'm Sting, brother.
And Hogan's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. I didn't know you were Sting.
And the Sting's like, woo!
There we go, another test of strength.
Hogan rolling down into a pin, but very far too close to the ropes, and Sting's grabbing on the bottom rope. Not even a count made there.
And the senior official, Nick Patrick, is going to call this medal, even though he used to be associated with Hulk Hogan and the NWO.
He was the NWO referee. Hogan attacking the left arm of Sting, wrenching it round. Sting managing to reverse it. Because what else would we want in a match?
And the empty seats there means that the people saw Goldberg and went home.
Indeed, yes, but this is the match that the pay-per-view has been about and built up to. None of these other matches mattered or was relevant in any way whatsoever.
And now both men just reversing each other, neither getting on top.
Oh, you know what this pay-per-view's missing? Conan.
Yeah, where is Conan? And Hogan there with a bit of wrestling. Drop toe hold onto Sting. Needs to break though. Now both men just stare at each other. Now both men another test of strength. Hogan comes out on top. Going to go behind. Sting reverses again.
Well, the hammerlock locked in, but Hogan straight over.
This is just a puzzle at the moment. Both men matching each other.
Hogan got Sting backed up into the corner, laying a few knees in and a few huge punches and chops. Punch and chop combo. Irish rips him to the opposite corner. Follows that up with a clothesline.
I mean, Hogan just doesn't change for anybody, does he? You know, like he's just like, all right, let's do what we normally do.
Hogan starts out on top throughout majority of the match. The other person gets in charge. Hogan hulks up, comes back, gets the victory. Leg drop, 1, 2, 3, done.
A couple of slams, a couple of back rakes.
No, that's heel Hogan.
But Hogan will still do this. Hogan will go for the eyes of Sting at some point in this match. And Sting now will slam an elbow drop. And I would say the fans are cheering Sting a little bit more at the moment.
Hogan doesn't like that.
Now again, test of strength. Don't know which way it's going to go. Hogan may have the advantage.
Well, if a knee to the
midsection, Hogan does gain advantage of that. Works over Sting's left arm again. Twists it round and drops a few elbows to Sting's elbow. Hogan suplex. The Sting bounces straight up back to his feet. Hogan hasn't realised that. And you see the shock on his face as he turns round. The Sting gives him a woo!
And now Sting is looking to go in the attack on Hogan.
The Sting going to lay the 10 punches to the big bald bonce of Hogan.
Well, he backed up in the corner. Irish whip by Sting and a clothesline taking Hogan down.
To a cover. 2. No, Hogan managing to kick out.
And
Hogan start rolling to the outside, trying to give himself a bit of a breather. Grabs the leg of Sting. Drags him to the outside alongside him.
Oh, look, right, yeah, Hogan.
Yeah, alright, I'll give it you.
He just can't help himself. He's only got like the 10 moves, so he can't really, do much else.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't pulled out the finger poke of doom for a while, though. Hogan Irish whip Sting to barricade.
Hogan from behind just looks like an old man. I mean, I had to go at Brian Knobbs earlier, but it's the same with Hulk Hogan. Now, Hogan been a bit daring, hitting an elbow drop on the outside.
That's uncharted territory for the Hulkster.
He got up, though. His hips held for him.
His legs aren't as braced as they turn out to be as well.
Yeah, at the moment, Hogan's in great shape. And Sting now getting the advantage back on Hogan.
Sting drops Hogan throat first against barricade. It is quite amazing, though, that, with Sting and that, how bad he was towards the end of his career, even though he didn't take too many risks.
He still had a long, like I said, he had as long as The Undertaker did, long career. And kept himself great shape. The only shame is when he finally went to WWE, that's when he suffered the kind of fucking career-ending injury. So, that's it. I think Sting is very underrated as well in what he did. And sometimes it hurts him because, WWE don't admit that Sting was such a great guy when it was for other companies, So I think therein lies the problem with that.
Absolutely, yeah. And, if Sting had come across 2001, there would have been some fucking legendary matches. Him versus Undertaker is one that stands out. I know WWE have teased it. Was it late last year or was it earlier this year?
Like, I think bit of both. I think I think that match we might still see at some point. I know. I don't want to say. I just But is it amazing now how much wrestling has changed in 20 years? When you talk about the style in ring of what we got. I mean, we would never have anything like this nowadays, would we?
Absolutely not. No.
I mean, the stuff is so maybe Andy Orton, but it's not as bad as kind of what we're seeing.
You want to watch your fucking mouth.
I'm just talking about with the sleepers. You know what I mean? When they're kind of. You always got to have like a 5-minute sleep in the match.
To help the other person rest because they've got to go against Randy Orton.
I'm just talking about the kind of, level. General level. Hogan's got Sting and he's going to put him, oh my God, in the abdominal stretch.
It's a move you haven't seen for a while.
Well, it's a long time.
Well, it was Hogan that had the first ever abdominal stretch put on him by Wilbur Snyder.
Yeah.
In the early 1900s.
Yeah, for 1930s, Wilbur Snyder. And, I mean, a legendary move, and Hogan now going to try and get Sting to submit. No, turns it into a pin.
And that was early 50s.
Yes, he's trying to get the pin only 2 low.
2.
Hogan tried it 3 times, but neither successful.
2.
Hogan a right hand. Sid fighting back with a chop. A poke to the eye. Back
hey. You called it.
Hogan looks tired as well.
Hogan is glistening with...
It looks like Lodi and Lenny from earlier. And now he's going up top with the big right hand. Oh!
Well, 8 punches and a huge bite to the head of Sting.
Well, he's doing anything for that title.
His title.
Even the crowd sounds like they're just moaning about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, general grumble. And Hogan again with Sting. Irish whip.
Sting ducking the first attempt, hitting a flying crossbody straight into a cover. No, only a 2 count.
2. Hogan can't believe it, but now backing up into the corner. And is Sting going to go for it?
Stinger splash.
Well, he hit the first one. He's going to go again.
Stinger splash.
Well, he hit the second. Is he going to go for the third one?
No. Hogan moving out of the way this time.
And Mr. Stinger splash. And, oh my word.
He's hulking up.
Here we go. This is the end.
Blocks Sting's right hand attempt. Hits 3 of his own.
Irish whip.
Big boot.
Boom. And he's calling for the leg drop.
The fans want to see it. DDP's knocked out referee Nick Patrick.
Leg drop. Hogan into the cover. And what's DDP doing out here? He's got Hogan.
Diamond cutter to Hogan.
Oh, Page just lost to Goldberg.
Well, I knew we couldn't trust Brett. I knew we couldn't trust Luger. But DDP didn't even come into it.
And now he's in cahoots with Sting. What in the blue hell? Referee's counting 1, 2.
No, Hogan managing to kick out.
And Page just getting in. That's it.
Diamond cuts the referee. Hogan bounces up to his feet.
So the main event we'd be desperate for. Page just come out and ruined it.
You, Page. Brett's out. Hits Page.
And Brett knocking Diamond Dallas Page out. And now it's just Hogan and Sting. But there is no ref. What the fuck is this? Here comes Sid.
Sid's out. He eats a big boat.
Anybody else? Who the hell is that? Lex Luger?
Well, it is Luger. With a baseball bat.
And he's giving it to Sting. Will Sting use the baseball bat on Hogan? Hogan saying, come on, it's Luger all along.
We told you he was the one.
Wait a minute, Sting's not moving.
Back to the midsection of Hogan. Cracks him over the back.
Oh my God, Luger just cracked Brett with a bat. Charles Robinson's in. Sting's putting him in a Scorpion Deathlock.
2. Hogan's arm drops 3 times. Sting is your new champion. Sting and Luger were in cahoots all along.
Woo! Cahoots! Cahoots! Shenanigans!
And Sting is your new WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Him and Luger embrace.
What the fuck is that on this top? Someone's phone saying to Lex Luger. Who cares? We got a new champ. Well, that made perfect sense. It was Sting.
Absolutely.
Don't trust Sting. 9-time WCW champion.
Got the title upside down, but who cares?
Ooh, there you go. Ooh. So, Dan, what did you think of that match?
Full of twists and turns. I think, the ending was definitely a surprising one, to say the least. It was very entertaining.
Yes.
A close second to the Goldberg match, I think.
Yeah, surprisingly so. I think this match I wasn't expecting anything from it, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I think with that, like I said, it's not my favourite match of the night. It's my second favourite. Match of the night's DDP versus Goldberg, isn't it? You know?
Definitely, yeah. And a lot of questions have been raised from this match as well. You know, is Sting a heel now? What's going on?
Exactly, and that's the good things as we leave there. Pay-per-view score, like, would you give it a 10? I'm going to give it 6.5. Just because it was a terrible, terrible pay-per-view, but the last two matches kind of saved it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. 6 3/4, just to be a bit more fair, because them last two matches, they were the only good matches on the pay-per-view, yeah.
So we'll catch up with the Nitro results quickly. The following night, September 13th.
Yes, Chris Benoit defeated Dean Malenko 8 minutes 4 seconds with a cradle immediately after Malenko hit a superplex. After the match, the two hugged.
Disco Inferno defeated Eric Watts at 3 minutes 10 with a chartbuster stunner. After the bout, Sid Vicious attacked both men, hit the chokes on Disco, hit the powerbomb on Watts, and defeated Watts following an in-ring promo by Sid. Sid hit the powerbomb on Disco.
Well, Silver King fought Norman Smiley to a no contest at 156 when, guess who?
Sid Vicious attacked both men, hit the powerbomb on Smiley, hit the chokeslam on King, and defeated both.
Bay Windham and Kendall Windham defeated Steven Regal and Dave Taylor at 4 minutes 13 when Regal was defeated after heading hit him with a cowbell.
The WWE Tag Team Champions Harlem Heat defeated Hugh Morris and Brian Knobbs via disqualification at 7:53 when Barry and Kendall Windham interfered after the bout. The champions cleared the ring.
The Insane Clown Posse defeated Lenny Lane and Lodi at 3:21 when Shaggy defeated Lane after Lodi accidentally hit a crossbody on his partner.
Chris Benoit defeated WWE TV champion Rick Steiner to win the title.
Perry Saturn defeated Eddie Guerrero at 9 minutes 17 with a cradle.
Berlin defeated Buff Bagwell at 5:11.
And WWE World Champion Sting and Lex Luger defeated Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart at 11:58 when Sting defeated Hart after Luger hit Hart in the face with a baseball bat. So I guess Luger and Sting are an official thing. Berlin got a victory over Bagwell, which is good as well. And Benoit got the title back, or got a championship back the next night.
Indeed, yeah. So you're going to lose the US title, but the next night you're going to win a TV title off Rick Steiner.
So September 20th.
Well, tag team match, Juventud and Psychosis defeated Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio Jr. at 4 minutes 53. Psychosis pins Kidman after a dropkick.
Goldberg defeated Brian Knobbs at 2:26 with a jackhammer.
WWE World Heavyweight Championship defeated Chris Benoit at 15:02. Sting defeated Benoit after Luger interfered and hit Benoit with a baseball bat.
Berlin defeated Scott Armstrong with a reverse neckbreaker.
Is he a referee, or is it Brad Armstrong?
No, Scott Armstrong is the referee, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, Berlin pins Armstrong after reverse neckbreaker. Singles match, Evan Courageous defeated Blitzkrieg at 4:22 when Courageous hit a twisting splash.
Saturn with Shane Douglas and Dean Malenko defeated Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Guerrero got defeated after Douglas hit him with a chain.
Can I just say that Conan was involved in that?
Fuck Conan.
Well, WWE World Cruiserweight Championship match, Lenny Lane defeated Shaggy 2 Dope with a roll-up.
Singles match, Booker T defeated Canyon after a missile dropkick.
Ric Flair defeated DDP via disqualification after being attacked by Sting, Luger and Hogan.
Oh my God, so Flair's back with a Flair. And then finally, September 27th.
Yeah, Benoit defeated Ernest the Cat Miller.
Buff Bagwell defeated Vampiro.
Rey Mysterio defeated Dean Malenko.
Bill Goldberg defeated Hugh Morris. What an original idea that was.
Berlin defeated Evan Courageous.
Harlem Heat defeated Barry and Kendall Windham.
Rick Steiner defeated Van Hammer.
Conan fought Perry Saturn to a no contest when the fans left the arena.
Billy Kidman defeated Psychosis.
Well, the stipulation stated Kidman would have had his hair cut if he lost, and Psychosis would have to unmask if he lost.
Yes, and Bret Hart and Ric Flair defeated Sting, DDP via disqualification in a handicap match.
So we'll be back next month We'll be back in a couple of weeks for the WF's turn, and next month, of course, for WCW. Our next episode will be Clash of Champions 2019. Yes, we'll be back in current days times. But what have you thought? What are your serious thoughts on WCW this month, Dan?
They've got a very strong roster still, but they're just not putting the right matches together for it.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you. So, like I said, we will be back with WF in a couple of weeks' time, which should say in a couple of weeks' time as well that the WNR246 is coming, and we'll be doing the top 50 most recent wrestlers since the podcast inception. Dan, you're really looking forward to that one, aren't you?
Oh, I am, absolutely, yes. I don't know whether it's just sorting out a list between the two of us or just our massive debate that we have, because that is the biggest mass debate we have. WNR.
Yes, so the 250 will be coming soon. Well, you can guess when, because this is a 246 right now, just in a month's time. Next episode, like I say, is Clash of Champions. But don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at WWE Network Review or
at Vince McDan, WWE.
I'm at J_Rollins across all the Google platforms. Send us an email, WNRpodcast@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram, the WNR Podcast. We're on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. You can come and find our page and give us a like with a WWE Network Review podcast. Or you can come and
Find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan. Our new website, James. How close are we to finishing that?
Yeah, it should be ready in the new year.
That is the WNRpodcast.com.
We're also on YouTube, WWE Net Review Podcast. Podcast go up on YouTube, same time as other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
We're on Spreaker Radio, we've got live shows, Stitcher Radio and iTunes. You can download, subscribe, rate and review there. Well, that is it. Next episode is Clash of Champions. I've been James Rowlands, and as always, I was joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.